Final 2 weeks of the PGCBL season as the Saugerties Stallions host the Utica Blue Sox here at home after a couple of games on the road. Welcome to the Arch Top Fiber pregame show. Dan Challen with you alongside Nick Zuppi. And Nick, the Stallions are starting to gain some momentum after a couple of gritty performances.
They're winners of 7 of their last 10 games. The Ponies are rolling in the end of the year.
5-5 tie up at Amsterdam a few days ago, and then 2 days ago, a 7-6 victory over the Utica Blue Sox.
Those 2 games were nail-biters throughout, and the Stallions did come away with a victory against the Utica Blue Sox, but Amsterdam, a tie is not the worst thing up at Shuttleworth.
And back to that Utica game, a big part of that one was the Stallions trailing 5-1, but then coming all the way back using all 10 innings and getting the win.
The Stallions only had 1 hit in their first 4 innings on offense. The bullpen really helped out in the back half, only 1 run across the final 6.
And you mentioned the bullpen, the big arms in that one for the Stallions. Jace Van Valkenburg, Charles Batista, but really most importantly, Matt Murtaugh. He came in for the final 3 innings and let up nothing.
Coach Martin yesterday for the Ponies really went to the go-to guys last night. Batista, Van Valkenburg, and Murtaugh have been nails all year, and he wanted to win that one for sure, and the Stallions did come away with a win.
And how about offensively as well? Trailing 5-1 against the Blue Sox. Adonis Medina helping out with a 3-run blast, and then Dylan Passo as well.
Passo had 3 hits, and Medina, like you said, the home run. It's been about 2.5 weeks since the Stallions have had a home run, and oh boy, did they need it yesterday.
Came up in a clutch way for the Stallions, this part of a home-and-home against the Blue Sox, and ahead of tonight's game, our sideline reporter, Henry Hipschman, caught up with Dylan Passo, who was named player of the game after the one up in Utica.
Thanks, guys. I'm here with last night's player of the game from the Stallions' 7-6 victory over the Utica Blue Sox, Dylan Passo. Dylan, 3 for 4 in RBI. How are you feeling after last night's game?
Feeling pretty confident heading into today. Just hopefully stay on the barrel, keep the energy moving forward.
Now, this is back-to-back games for you with 3 hits. What's been the secret to the success at the plate?
Just being aggressive early on in the count, getting my pitch, making sure I'm taking the ball wherever it's pitched. If it's outside, hitting it the other way, inside pulling it, and just hitting line drives.
Now, you've been moving up in the batting order since you've joined the Stallions. You were batting 3rd last night against the Blue Sox. What does this trust from the coaches mean to you?
It means a lot to just be surrounded by all these guys with college experience and have the coaches trust me to move up in the lineup, just do my job.
Speaking of college experience, you're a rising freshman. You're going to Notre Dame next season. Your fellow teammate Jamie Z is also going to Notre Dame. What are the Fighting Irish getting in this duo?
We just want to be the guys who are getting the clutch hits, making great plays defensively, and being aggressive on the base paths. We just want to help the team win however we can.
Thank you, Dylan. Last night's player of the game, Dylan Passo. Stay tuned after the break for our Arch Top Fiber pregame show.
Welcome back to the Arch Top Fiber pregame show. Dan Challen with you alongside Nick Zuppi in a beautiful night in Saugerties. And Nick, focusing on the Utica Blue Sox, this is a team that is basically hovered around 500 for the majority of the season and looking for a late surge.
And they have an exactly 500 record, 15-15-1 coming into tonight. But they have dropped 2 out of the first 3 against the Ponies this year.
This is a squad that likes to play gritty, though. They'll play you tough, have a couple of wins against the Amsterdam Mohawks this season, so certainly can't underrate this squad, even though the offensive numbers don't look the best.
They're 11th in the PGCBL in both batting average and on-base percentage, but this is a team you can't count them out, like you said. Through the first 3 games against the Stallions, they're actually out-hitting Saugerties 24-21.
And if you go back to that July 4th game, the Blue Sox actually took the lead in that one and seemed like they were going to take it all the way until that 6th inning for Saugerties.
Looking at the matchups as a whole, Dan, beyond that, for that July 4th game, they've led in all 3 of the games as well. So this is a team that just can't hold on in the later innings against the Stallions.
See if that's different here tonight. And for Nick, that takes me to my key to the game. As you can tell, the Stallions are here at home, and that's a big thing for this team down the stretch. Saugerties currently this season 10-5 at Cantine Field, and they've done a great job staying in nearly every single game here outside of playing the Amsterdam Mohawks. For me, the big thing is you got to take care of business at home. Coming into this game, Saugerties has a 2-game cushion in the PGCBL East, but that could disappear quickly with 6 of the last 9 for Saugerties here at Cantine Field. They've won here so far this season. They've done an amazing job. They just need to keep doing that down the stretch. Stick to the same formula that's been working, and I think they'll be sound from here on out. Nick, what do you got?
Dan, for my key to the game, I'm going to look at the offense. This is a Stallion squad over their last couple games that have had to rely on late inning rallies, specifically 2 days ago against the Blue Sox. It was a 4-run 5th that propelled them to the win. So therefore, this Stallions offense can't wait to score. You need to find ways to scratch runs across early on in the ball game to take yourselves out of those late game pressure scenarios that are so tough to hit in against a very capable Blue Sox squad that comes into today 3rd in opponents' batting average. But Dan, the Ponies as a whole on offense have been really solid this whole year, but recently they've lost a lot of guys, starting with Travis Hobbins-Siefken.
Nick, you mentioned it. Travis Hobbins-Siefken was the 2nd leader on this team in RBIs. That's a big loss for this team.
He was top 5 in the league as well. He had 25 through 26 games as a Stallion. He's a power bat in the lineup that the Stallions really can't afford to lose this late in the year. And
we go from power to contact. Reese Maroney heading to the Falmouth Commodores in the Cape Cod Baseball League. He was a monster for the Stallions.
And he was a guy who hit 1 through 5 in the batting order. Doesn't matter where he hit, you felt like he got on base more than once in a ball game.
OBP was over 500. He was able to steal a bag. Another guy from Rhode Island that has also left the team, Ryan King.
And he ended on a big hitting streak. 8 games where he hit north of 400. 4 of those games he had an extra base hit. So once more, a power bat goes bye-bye for the Ponies.
But it's not all bad news. The Stallions have some reinforcements here in Saugerties. One that we talked about earlier, Adonis Medina, another Rhode Island guy who's been tearing it up.
And we were just talking about how they lost power bats. He supplied the power 2 days ago against the Blue Sox with a big home run up at Donovan Stadium.
Certainly hoping that he keeps things rolling for this team. Stallions as a whole are hoping that a couple of other guys as well, like John Hacker, who's supposed to pitch here tonight, can deliver on the mound.
And he had a great relief appearance the last time he pitched, north of 3 innings, scoreless. So he was a guy who just dominated, looks to continue that tonight.
So we speak of guys going in and out. How about now we go up? Speaking of the MLB draft, 3 former Ponies getting selected last week.
The highlight was Ethan Conrad going 17 to the Chicago Cubs. He played with the Stallions in 2023, 24, and then goes number 17 to the Chicago Cubs. Congratulations.
How about Anthony Frobos? 1 game and then he gets selected by the New York Mets, a little hometown guy. He made that 1 game worth it here in Saugerties.
He hit a solo home run to dead center field here at Cantine, showing everybody why he was MLB worthy.
Nearly 400 feet, so he goes down with 1 player of the game in 1 game played as a Saugerties Stallion. And then the last guy to be selected, Nate Williams, also going to the Chicago Cubs, pitched here as a reliever last season for Saugerties.
And he was one of the Stallions' most trustworthy relievers. He played this past spring at Mississippi State, another guy who's just been solid for the Stallions.
When we speak of being solid, this Saugerties team is in a good position here as we head towards the final 10 games of the season in the PGCBL East. Still chasing the Amsterdam Mohawks, but really the main focus is solidifying second place.
They have 2.5 games separating the Stallions, who are in second, and the Mohawk Valley Diamond Dogs, who are in third. So as long as they don't collapse here in their final stretch of games, I think second place is a lock.
And you look at the schedule a little bit for Saugerties as well. They've got Mohawk Valley, Boonville, Amsterdam all coming here. They don't visit any of those places in these final 10 games.
And this is a Stallion squad that's been lights out at home, 10-5 here at Cantine, so looking to take advantage of some tough games coming up here at Cantine.
Certainly an uphill battle to get to first place, but not completely out of the question just yet, and it all starts here tonight against the Utica Blue Sox. That's going to do it for the Archtop Fiber pregame show. We'll have you with first pitch on the other side of this break.
He served 1976 to 1986. Petty Officer, second class.
Friday night baseball here at Cantine Field as the Utica Blue Sox travel to face the Saugerties Stallions. Dan Shalom with you alongside Nick Zuppi here in the Pack Up broadcast booth. This is the second leg of a home-and-home between these two sides, Nick, and the Stallions looking to sweep it and keep ground on the Amsterdam Mohawks.
Ponies won 7-6 2 nights ago against these very Blue Sox, but Dan, something of note, they were actually out-hit 12-8 for the first time and now 3 completed games against the Blue Sox this season.
We'll see how they fare here tonight. Virgil Heath is the starter for Saugerties, his 4th of the season. And we got baseball here from Cantine Field. First pitch misses down low for ball 1. The Stallions coming off a 7-6 thriller in extra innings up there in Utica. Had an off day yesterday. And now back here at home as Heath finds the zone for the first time tonight. And in that game, Stallions trailed 5-1 in the top half of the 5th before coming all the way back and using the extra frame. Ground ball over to second. Here's the throw. In time by Ray, but beating it to the bag is Avery Whitney. And that'll be an error tagged on Andrew Ray.
Ray making his home debut for the Ponies, playing second base, just sailed the throw a little bit up the line. Paso did a nice job of keeping Whitney over there at first base, but not the start to the ball game that the Stallions would like.
Two-hole hitter is James Turchi, the left fielder for the Blue Sox. Stallions have had a lot of players coming in and out, and Ray, one of the new guys over there at second base. The defense tonight for Saugerties is Lino behind the dish. Brandon Fish, his first home game of the season for Saugerties, played here last summer. That it's Casey Comiskey at short, Andrew Ray at second, Dylan Paso over at first. Left to right in the outfield is Fitzsimmons, Crane, and Medina. Heath finds the zone for strike 1.
And the last time Heath pitched, he was spectacular. He came out of the bullpen against the Boonville Lumberjacks and finished the game 4 1/3 scoreless innings, looking to pick up where he left off here today.
Nice pickoff move over there to first, nearly catching Whitney leaning off. So far this season, Turchi has been a monster for the Blue Sox since joining the squad. Through 10 games, an average sitting at .455. Looking to create some early pop in the top of the first. Fouls it off, and we've got our first 0-2 count of the ball game.
And Dan Turchi's a guy who doesn't really strike out very much either. Only 5 in those first 10 games, like you mentioned.
Blue Sox winners of 2 straight on the road after they went through a stretch of where they didn't win one away from Donovan Stadium for 3 weeks. Whitney goes over, and that's a perfectly executed hit and run by the Blue Sox. Won't be able to get Whitney over to third due to the ball being hit to Fitzsimmons in left, but some early trouble for Virgil Heath to work out of here. Runners at first and second with nobody out. It'll be Xavier Smith, the third baseman for the Blue Sox. Turchi and Smith, 1 and 2 on this team in batting average. That makes sense why they have Smith right here, right now, hoping he can deliver RBI number 14 and give Utica an early 1-0 lead. Look to lay down the bunt, and Lino can't come up with the pitch. It's going to go all the way to the backstop. Both runners move up 90 feet. It'll be a wild pitch going against Heath.
Heath being a little wild here in the beginning of the game. Utica came out strong against the Stallions 2 days ago. They plated 5 runs in the first 5 innings on offense, but then went scoreless after that. First inning has suited them well early on here today.
And the last time they were here at Cantine Field, if you remember, was on July 4th. They also scored 2 runs in the first. Stallions would go on to win that game 6-5. 2-0 count here to Smith.
And after scoring those 2 runs in the first inning, they didn't then score until the 6th. Andrew Speranza did a nice job of finding a rhythm in that one.
Heath deals the off speed, and it ends up clipping Xavier Smith, and the bases are loaded with nobody out. Heath struggling with his control here in this outing to start off. The E4 not helping him out to start the game. And now he's really got to work hard against Anthony Peritano, the first baseman. Peritano below 200. But a perfect chance for him to get above that mark. Stallions will bring the corners in and sit in double play defense here in the top half of the first. Heath misses at the top of the zone, and he's trying to figure out where that one is missing. Joe Lassapinera Sr. behind the dish here tonight. Bases loaded, nobody out. Top of the first. Fastball grounded to the left side, foul. 1-1 count.
Heath needs to do exactly that. He needs to force a ground ball in any way, shape, or form. Utica has the bases loaded, so a ground ball would be a double play. Still only nobody out in the inning.
Heath trying to get Peritano to chase at the big breaker. Doesn't go for it. A 2-ball, 1-strike count. The bases full of Blue Sox. Heath finds the zone. 2 balls and 2 strikes.
Nowhere to put Peritano. Heath has to go right after him right here. Now in the second 2-strike count of this inning, he's got to find a way to strike out Peritano. He has to go to that put-out pitch, whatever it is.
Plunks Xavier Smith with the breaker. Goes to it here, forces a ground ball to Comiskey. He'll flip to Ray at second, on to first. Is in time. It's a double play. The Blue Sox will score a run, but there's 2 outs on the board, and the Stallions more than comfortable making that trade here early on.
Without a doubt, bases loaded, nobody out. That was a recipe for disaster. A couple weeks ago, the Mohawk Valley Diamond Dogs had that exact scenario. They played at 9 in that inning. Heath gets the ground ball, 2 outs on 1 play. Big pitch from Virgil.
It's Matt Colello, the shortstop, at the plate with the runner at third and 2 down. The off-speed for Heath has just seemed a little bit off here tonight to start.
And this is a guy who loves to start hitters with that breaking ball, uses it to his advantage to get ahead in the count, and then ultimately powers hitters away with the fastball.
Finds it right there with the fastball. 1 ball and 1 strike. Utica had the bases loaded here in the top of the first before the double play, which started with Comiskey at short. 1-1 pitch. Lino does a nice job blocking it in the dirt. Luke Baker is the starter for the Blue Sox. He's walking out of the bullpen now, getting ready to go in the bottom half of the first. And the last time he pitched against the Stallions, 4 1/3 for him, giving up just 1 run. Heath misses at the top of the zone, at risk of issuing his first walk of the game.
And going back to Baker, Dan, he's only allowed 1 earned run over his last 12 innings of baseball.
He's been dominant. And he's going to have to wait a little bit longer to toe the slab, as there's now runners at the corners with 2 down. Vincent Cowdery, the right fielder, stepping in. Lino giving instructions to his defense with 2 down and a possible steal looming from Colella. Has 5 bags on the season so far. And he has a large lead over there at first. Heath deals. Misses at the top of the zone. 1-0. A very cool night here in Saugerties. Perfect one for baseball. Sitting at around 75 degrees. No Rain in the forecast to give a check over at first, and he thought that Kallela was out over there at first, and so did the entire Stallions dugout.
That's now the second different runner where Heath almost picked him off. It started with Whitney after he reached on the E4, but Heath's pickoff move, look out, might get someone today.
Fly ball into center field. Crane going back a few steps short of the track, makes the play. Utica had the bases loaded here in the top half of the first. Only one run comes across. Luke Baker coming to the mound for the Blue Sox in the bottom of the first. Stay with us. Welcome back to Saugerties. Dan Shalom with you alongside Nick Zuppi as we get ready for the bottom half of the first. Stallions trailing 1-0 after the Blue Sox had the bases loaded. The arm on the mound here for Utica is Luke Baker, who has been more than solid as of late.
Only one earned run, Dan, over his last 12 innings of play. His most recent appearance was against the Boonville Lumberjacks, where he started and pitched the whole game except for one. He went 8 scoreless innings against the Lumberjacks as a whole. This year, Baker has a 2.76 ERA, fourth lowest on the squad.
Can't really ask for much more out of Baker, and he pitched against the Stallions on July 4th. 4 1/3 in that one with one earned run given up. Here's what the lineup looks like for Saugerties here tonight. It'll be Adonis Medina leading things off. Then it's going to be Cameron Carroll. He's the extra hitter tonight. Dylan Passo stays in the 3-hole. He was the 3-hole hitter a couple of days ago up in Utica. Then it's Brandon Fish cleaning things up. Casey Comiskey, Dylan Fitzsimmons, Logan Sanchez, the designated hitter, Anthony Lino, Andrew Ray, and Griffin Crane. The guy coming to the plate right now, a 3-run shot up there in Utica, which helped the Stallions get across the line in that 7-6 victory.
It was in a 4-run 5th inning, and the Ponies really needed it. They were down 5-1. They would tie the game in that inning, and then ultimately prevailing for the win in extras.
First pitch from Baker runs in and hits Medina. So the Stallions immediately get the tying run on base here in the bottom half of the first. Interestingly enough, Despite Baker having the 2.76 ERA, he's hit 8 batters on the season coming into this. That number now up to 9, which ties Matthew Callahan for the lead on the team in that category. Cameron Carroll, the extra hitter at the plate, batting from the left side. Looks to lay down bunt. That pitch high and away for ball 1.
Carroll was not in the lineup 2 days ago against Utica, but he did play back on 4th of July, where he was 0 for 4 with a run batted in.
And speaking of 4th of July, always has that America armband on. In a 2-0 count here against Luke Baker. Last time Carroll saw action was against the Amsterdam Mohawks in that 5-5 tie. A day that he kind of wants to forget. Was hit by the pitch twice and grounded into a double play. Medina goes to second. Here's the throw down from Esposito. Not in time. Stolen base for Adonis Medina, and the Stallions have the tying run in scoring position.
Second stolen base for Medina, and now this being his 3rd game as a Pony. The leadoff position has been key for the Stallions simply because of that, the stolen base. Luis Rodriguez led the league in that category before he left.
And he got a great jump right there. It was a good throw down from Esposito, but just not in time. And Baker issues the 4-pitch walk to Cam Carroll. So now same situation for the Stallions as Utica had in the top half of the first. First and second with nobody out. Both runners in this game so far have reached by way of the hit by pitch or the walk. No hits given up just yet. Atta Baker. And Passo looking to get the bunt down. Takes a fastball at the top of the zone for strike 1.
Passo's moved all the way up to 3rd in back-to-back games against the Blue Sox. This is a guy who comes into today who normally hits 6 or 7 in the lineup, but with the recent players that have left, Reese Maroney, Travis Hobbins-Siefkin, Justin Ford's been banged up a little bit. Passo gets the bump up to 3rd.
Makes sense why he is in the 3 hole. Went 3 for 4 with an RBI against Utica 2 days ago at Donovan Stadium. Was a big part as to why the Stallions were able to win that one. Trying to tie this game up at 1 here in the bottom of the first. Baker deals. Passo fights it off just foul on the 3rd baseline.
You know, Dan, they say baseball is a game of inches, and that just proved it right there. Passo was inches, maybe even centimeters away from an RBI extra base hit.
Something that Passo has been especially good at so far this season. He's got 10 extra base hits. No home runs just yet. But he's been close a few times. Medina gets caught in a rundown. He's going over to 3rd. Now we'll go back to 2nd. No movement from Carroll over there on the other side of things. And Medina is tagged out. Tried to get a little bit too greedy there. And is caught.
And this is a Stallion squad that's been so good at running the bases all year. Comes into today, first in the PGCBL in stolen bases. A rare base running blunder tonight against the Blue Sox.
It's the first time this season that Medina has been caught stealing, and Baker did a nice job being aware of what was going on. Pitch is high and away there. Looked kind of like a pitch out. Not wanting Carroll to get over to 2nd base. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Passo's clipped with the pitch. 2nd hitter of this inning that has been plunked, and you really go back now to Medina's base running error. The Stallions could have the bases loaded with nobody out.
for a guy who loves to drive in runs as well. Brandon Fish, newer to the squad this summer, but he's played with the Stallions in 3 prior.
His first game of the season was against the Blue Sox a couple of days ago, 1 for 4 in that with an RBI on a run scored. Definition of a veteran contact bat, and looking to give the Stallions a late season push here. Pops the first pitch up into shallow left. Coming on to make the play is Turchi, and there's 2 down.
Good pitch from Baker to get it in on the hands of Fish. Just jammed him enough to force the fly out.
Baker just had to go through a stretch of 3 straight lefties that he faced. Was at a disadvantage against Carol Paso Fish. 2 walks, 1 fly out. But the pickle over there that Medina got caught in results in 2 outs on the board for Casey Comiskey. Hits a ball into left field. Carroll gets the windmill from Ron Kelder, the third base coach. There will be no throw. It's an RBI single for Casey Comiskey, and we're tied at 1.
RBI number 17 for Mr. Comiskey. And Dan, we've been saying it all summer long. He started off really cold, including a 2 for 25 skid over his first 13. But since then, hitting over 350.
And doing a job as well with 2 outs. That wasn't particularly loud contact, but just found the hole on the infield and did enough to tie up the game at 1. Dylan Fitzsimmons at the plate now in a 1-0 count. That was the first hit of the game for Saugerties as well. Big cut and a miss out of Fitzsimmons, and you mentioned Baker with only 1 earned run over the last 12 coming into this game. That looks a little bit different now in the bottom half of the first. Did do the same exact thing the last time that he pitched here on July 4th. The lone run that he gave up was in the bottom of the first. And I like that, too. You can see that the Blue Sox have the blue rosin bag on the mound. That's definitely something a little bit unique to their squad. 2-1. Clips the outer half of the plate. 2 balls, 2 strikes with 2 down and 2 runners on here for Dylan Fitzsimmons. Baker deals. Fastball popped up to the left side in foul territory. Smith chasing. He can't make the play, and he crashes into the wall. A little bit shaken up. He seems to be okay. What an effort that was by him.
And Dan, he actually had a real attempt at that baseball. Ball was in and out of his glove. That would have been one highlight play for Mr. Smith.
Certainly would be, or would have been. Fitzsimmons gets an extra life at the dish. For a guy who's batting just 200 over 12 games, trying to find his stride in the latter half of this season. First and second, 2 down. Baker misses outside with the off speed, and the count goes full. A real RBI opportunity here for Fitzsimmons with the runners on the move.
If he can hit one into the gap, he has 2 doubles this year, Fitzsimmons. The runners will be on the move, and Comiskey has good speed over at first as well. Ball into the gap, might score 2.
The payoff. Checks his swing. Does he go around? No, says field umpire Jeff Ramsdale. So Fitzsimmons works the walk. Second base on balls of the inning for Stallions offensively. There have been 2 hit by pitches as well. So not the cleanest first from Luke Baker, and he's got to deal with Logan Sanchez with the bases juiced.
And the walks really haven't hurt Baker that much this season. Coming into today, 32 and 2/3 innings pitched, only 14 walks. But like you said, Dan, he already has 2 here in the first.
First pitch with the bases loaded. Sanchez fouls it straight back. Passo at third. Comiskey at second. Fitzsimmons at first. Bases loaded is something that the Stallions were very used to a couple of days ago up at Shuttleworth Park. Had him juiced 5 different times, but could really never capitalize with the big hit. Only had 3 runs to show for it. Esposito's got to be wary behind the dish as well. A couple of balls have been bounced by Baker, and anything by him, Passo has a good amount of speed at third. He can come home.
And Passo's taking an aggressive secondary over at third as well. He's anticipating the ball in the dirt.
Sanchez steps back into the box. 20 RBIs for him on the year, which is 4th among active players. Big hack there. And he finds himself down 1 ball and 2 strikes.
He averages an RBI per game coming into today. 20 RBIs in 20 games played as a Pony this summer.
Baker wants to run through the signs one more time. Here's the pitch. Misses on the outside part of the zone. Esposito was curious as to why and where it missed. Asked home plate umpire Joe Lassapanera Sr. for a little bit of an explanation. And now back-to-back 2-2 counts for the Stallions offense. Here's the pitch. Fastball cue-balled into foul territory. Diving effort by Paratano. He can't make the play. There's been 2 plays in this inning and back-to-back at-bats where the Blue Sox could have gotten out of it in foul territory, but things just not breaking their way.
2 tough plays, though, for this Utica Blue Sox defense. Xavier Smith had the pop-up to third where he crashed into the tarp, and then that pop-up for the first baseman Paratano from Sanchez.
Baker fires way over the head of Sanchez. It bounces straight back to Esposito, so nowhere for Passo to go. But now the count goes full once again. Runners will be on the move. Ball into the gap. Could score 3.
Fitzsimmons has good speed over there at first base as well. Like you said, ball in the gap down the line, an extra base hit for Sanchez. Most likely driving in 3 for the Ponies here in the first.
Stallions with just 1 hit so far in this inning. Everything else has been walks or hit by pitch. Payoff. Fastball. Flown out into left field. Turchi is there, and Baker gets out of the jam with just 1 run given up. Tied at 1, going to the second here at Cantine Field. Second inning here at Cantine Field. Dan Shalom with you, alongside Nick Zuppi for the second straight game between these two teams. We're tied at 1 after 1. Virgil Heath out there for his second inning of work against Waldy Rodriguez, the DH. Deals the first pitch ball.
Rodriguez hit second 2 days ago against the Stallions. Now tonight, bumped down the lineup to 6.
Blue Sox, similar to the Stallions, had the bases loaded in the first inning, but a double play limited their offense to just 1 run scored. 1-1. Misses outside. And control for both of these pitchers was a problem in the first inning. Heath had 1 hit by pitch, 1 walk issued, and on the other side of things, Baker with 2 walks and 2 hit by pitches.
And Dan, coming into today for both of those guys, very uncharacteristic performance today for both of them. Both guys averaged less than 1 walk per inning pitched.
Heath blows the gas by Rodriguez for strike 2. Does not have a strikeout here tonight. And in the appearance against the Boonville Lumberjacks the other night, Heath only gave up 2 hits, no runs, across 4 1/3. Things looking different here tonight. The 1-2. Tried to get Rodriguez to chase it in the dirt. He holds off. 2-2 count. The interesting thing in that game for Virgil Heath as well was up to that point, he had given up a run in every outing. So it was really a bounce-back night for him. Count stays at 2-2. And the 1 run on the board here tonight against Heath unearned, with Andrew Ray booting the ball at second base to start things.
He just made a wild throw. He did a nice job of going toward the middle and fielding it just to throw that broad passo up the line.
Rodriguez chops the ball to Fish at third. He throws across the diamond in time. 1 down here in the second. Connor Jones is next for Utica. He's the center fielder here tonight. First pitch from Heath. Off speed, missing at the top of the zone, and that's been a little bit of a problem for Virgil here tonight so far. He's tried to use the off speed to his advantage, but has had a little bit of trouble pulling it down completely. The fastball's been working great. It produces another ground ball here to Comiskey. And it's back-to-back outs on the infield to start things here in the top of the second.
2 soft contact outs as well. Big morale boost for Heath out on the mound. He's now retired 3 straight. Starting to settle down a little bit after the very chaotic first.
Esposito, the catcher, next here for Utica. 2 down in the top half of the second. Fouls the first pitch back. And for Utica, they scored all 6 of their runs in the first 5 innings a couple of days ago. But after that, went cold for the final 5. Looking a little bit different here tonight with 2 down in the top of the second. And for the Stallions, trailed that game 5-1 before the 4-run 5th, which was really highlighted by the Adonis Medina 3-run blast, his first as a Stallion. 1-1 poked back over to Fish. And it's in time. A 1-2-3 inning for Virgil Heath. It's his first 1-2-3 of the evening. And we go to the bottom of the second, knotted at 1.
Thanks, guys. Welcome back to Canton Field. Now, the Stallions roster has had a shakeup over the past couple of weeks. The team no longer has Travis Hobbins-Siefkin, Reese Maroney, or Ryan King on the team's roster. The three players deciding to go home for the rest of the summer. Now, I talked to head coach Colin Martin. He said nothing really changes. The message stays the same. He wants his players to go out on the field and have some fun. Now, he did say they're going to try and keep an eye on some of the new guys who have joined the team as of late. Some of these names may include Adonis Medina, who coming into tonight's matchup was 1 for 5 in his 2 games with the Stallions. That one hit being a 3-run home run last night against Utica in the 7-6 victory. Another player, Brandon Fish, who was 1 for 4 with an RBI in his first game last night with the Utica Blue Sox, as well as Andrew Ray, who also had a hit last night and a walk in his first game with the Stallions. The question is, going forward, who can step up in the absence of some big at-bats for the Stallions offense? Back to you guys in the booth.
Thanks so much, Henry, and we already saw Medina come to the plate in the bottom half of the first, was hit by the pitch, made it over to second before being caught stealing. Have not seen Andrew Ray come to the dish just yet, but we will see him in this inning. Anthony Lino will lead things off for Saugerties. Fouls off the first pitch. And Nick, for the Stallions in the bottom half of the first, had the bases loaded with 2 down, but only 1 run to show for it.
Just something that the Stallions need to correct going forward. When they tied the Mohawks 5-5 just a couple of days ago, they had them loaded 5 times and only mustered 3 runs in that one.
0-1. Lino takes a big cut and a miss. And he's quickly down, no balls and 2 strikes. So far here tonight, Baker does not have a strikeout. And there it is. Lino down on 3 pitches. Got a little bit of it, but not enough to give himself another shot. He's down on K. And Andrew Ray will now come to the plate for his first at-bat here at home as a Stallion.
And Ray's finally starting to see some action against College Arms. Just finished his freshman year at Rhode Island, where he didn't play in a single game for the Rams.
First pitch misses upstairs for ball 1. Two balls and no strikes here to Ray. Ray made his first appearance against the Utica Blue Sox at Donovan Stadium. And in that game, a 1 for 3 outing for him with a run scored. Another guy coming from Rhode Island, Reese Maroney and Ryan King leave, and then you get Adonis Medina and Andrew Ray in return. A little bit of a trade, if you will.
And this was a Rhode Island squad last year that had a really good season this past spring. They won their conference, made an appearance in the college baseball tournament.
Three-one pitch. Smacked over to the left side. Making a diving play is Smith. Here's the throw. In time. Xavier Smith showing off the glove, and there's one down.
Smith showed off his range in the bottom half of the first, running a long way for that fly pop that was in and out of his glove. Here now going to his glove side with a nice sliding play for out number 2.
Talk about College World Series experience, Nick. Griffin Crane at the plate now, spent this past season with Louisville, which was one of 8 teams to make it to Omaha. In the 10-hole here tonight for the first time this season, looking for a little bit of speed at the bottom of the order.
And Crane can provide it as well. A big stolen base threat once he reaches.
Baker fires. Just misses for both pitchers. Had the bases loaded in the first, but both seem to be settling in here in the second. Each getting the first 2 batters out. And Baker looking for his first 1-2-3 of the ball game. Might have it right here. Ground ball to short. Colella throws to first, and there it is. Back-to-back 1-2-3 innings here in the second, and we stay knotted at 1 going to the third. Top of the third here in Saugerties. Dan Challen with you alongside Nick Zuppi. And Nick, it seems like these two teams have been replicating each other so far through the first 2 innings. Utica gets the bases loaded in the first, puts up a run. Stallions do the same in the bottom of the first, and then in the second, both pitchers with 1, 2, 3 innings.
Just the command of the zone is the biggest thing. Both guys in that first inning where they both allowed a run had a walk and a hit by pitch in that half inning as well. And Dan, both these pitchers scoreless outings against the Boonville Lumberjacks the last time they pitched as well.
Lewis Huang, the second baseman, swings at the first pitch. Comiskey throws to first. And for Virgil Heath, that's now 5 straight batters retired.
And 4 straight by way of the ground ball as well. It's been alternating from the third baseman Fish with Comiskey. In the last 4, nice pitch from Virgil to get the first pitch ground out.
Top of the order for the Blue Sox, Avery Whitney at the plate. He represents the lone run of this ball game, unearned against Virgil Heath. Reached on an error committed by Andrew Ray to start this game. One-0 misses down low. 2 balls and no strikes to the Utica leadoff man. And that's something we've seen over the last couple of appearances for Heath. Off-speed doesn't look as sharp as it did earlier this year.
It seems like whenever Heath needs a strike, he goes to that breaking ball. And for him to be missing, it's just not a good sign.
Gives up the 4-pitch walk to Avery Whitney. That breaks the streak of 5 straight retired. And James Turchi, the left fielder, comes to the plate. He has the only hit in this ball game for Utica. And he's been mashing the ball with video game numbers. The average above 460 for him through 10. Heath finds the zone with the fastball. It's 0-1.
And this Blue Sox lineup definitely needs a spark. Like Turchi coming into today, they're 11th in the PGCBL in batting average and on-base percentage.
One ball, one strike. A Utica team that sits 9.5 games out of first, but more importantly, just a lone game out of the final playoff spot in the PGCBL East. Boonville holding it right now, but they've lost 5 in a row. Utica really pressing hard to sneak their way into the postseason.
They've been consistent all year. They're the definition of consistency. 15-15-1 record, 500 baseball the whole way.
Hard hit ball over to second. Ray makes a nice play. Throws to Comiskey. Over to Passo. Second double play of the game. And it gets Heath out of the top of the third. Stallions defense showing off. Still tied at 1 going to the bottom of the third. The replay. Bottom of the third, Stallions coming to bat, large in part due to this double play. What a nice play it was by Andrew Ray, making up for the error earlier in the ball game. Spins around, gets it to Comiskey, over to first in time.
And Turchi made some loud contact as well. A one-hopper right at Ray. Like you said, Danny, made up for the error back in the first inning. A spinning 6-4-3 double play that gets Heath out of it.
Certainly what you love to see if you are Virgil Heath. For the Stallions here in the bottom of the third, they'll have the top of the order. 3 guys that all reached either by a hit by pitch or a walk. That led to the Stallions having the bases loaded in the first. Adonis Medina at the plate. He's out in right tonight. Played center up at Donovan Stadium 2 days ago, where he went 1 for 3 as he takes a first pitch strike, but that one was a crucial one for the Stallions, that being a 3-run jack in the 5th. Showed off the defense a couple of days ago in Amsterdam with a magnificent double play stemming from left field, and the bat coming through in his second game as a Stallion. 1-1. Takes a big cut and a miss at the bottom of the zone. Baker has 1 strikeout in this game. That was against Anthony Lino to lead things off on 3 pitches in the bottom of the second. Baker fires. Misses away. Baker's done a nice job settling down since the first inning. 4 in a row retired for him.
And it was the walk that really hurt him. He had 2 walks to go along with 2 hit by pitches as well.
Medina stays alive. 2 balls, 2 strikes. The 2-2 pitch misses high in the zone, and a problem for Baker as well in this outing has been getting into long counts. He hasn't had very many quick at-bats.
The Stallions are really making him work today, and that's a good approach. You got to get Baker out of the ballgame. He comes in today absolutely on fire, only 1 earned over his last 12.
Medina skies one into shallow center field. Colella moving in, but it'll end up being Jones making the play. And there's 1 down here in the bottom of the third.
Long battle between Medina and Baker, 8 pitches, but Baker finally wins it, forcing the fly out to the center fielder, Connor Jones, for Utica.
First pitch ball at the top of the zone to Cameron Carroll, extra hitter tonight. Two balls and no strikes to Cam Carroll. Couple of games without a hit for him after he started his campaign here with the Stallions, reaching base in every game through the first 10. Another high pop into center field. Back-to-back outs to the Utica center fielder to start things in the bottom of the third.
And now that's 6 straight outs for Baker as well after the 2 flyouts here in the third inning. Both pitchers really starting to settle down after the very chaotic first inning here in this one.
Dylan Passo at the plate. He's been a guy who's really stepped up for the Stallions in replacement of guys like Hobbin Siefkin, Reese Maroney, Ryan King. And that's what you'll love to see, especially with the guy who's only going to be a rising freshman at Notre Dame next season.
He's done a great job of providing pop in the batting order. Hits third for a reason. He had a triple last night, 2 nights ago against the Blue Sox.
And Lines a ball into center field. Unfortunate spot for him. The Stallions hit 3 balls into center field, results in 3 outs. Still a 1-1 score line going to the 4th.
Welcome back to Cantine. Nick Zuppi alongside Dan Shalom. Top of the 4th inning, and that prompts a Dallas Hot Wieners call to the bullpen for the Stallions. Dan Geloff is now toeing the slab for the Ponies. Virgil Heath gets through the first 3 innings, only allowing 1 unearned run. Final line on him: 3 hits, 3 innings pitched, 1 earned run, 1 hit, 1 walk, and no strikeouts for Heath. Geloff, in his first appearance for the Ponies in the summer of 2025, throws a strike to the 3-hole hitter in the Utica Blue Sox lineup, Xavier Smith. 0-1 count. The kick and the pitch hits Smith in the arm. Leadoff runner for Utica here in the 4th. Second time in back-to-back plate appearances for Xavier Smith, where he was hit by the pitch. Heath got him back in the 1st, and here in the 4th, Geloff starts him off with a hit by pitch. Geloff is making his first appearance for the Ponies here in the summer of 2025, a guy who pitched 14 times for the Franklin and Marshall Diplomats this past spring to an ERA of 3.73 across nearly 63 innings.
He's a very solid arm. Also had a 7-1 record in that time. So he's a guy who knows how to pitch in the high leverage situations down there in Lancaster, PA. Stallions are certainly searching for him to bring those same numbers here to Saugerties.
He's now pitching to Anthony Paratano. And we'll check on Smith over at first, not in time. Paratano here today, hit back in the 1st inning where he grounded into a double play with the bases loaded. Nubbed one to the shortstop Comiskey, who flipped one over to second baseman Ray and over to Passo for the 6-4-3 double play. But Utica did plate their lone run on that swing. Paratano takes strike 1, 1 ball and 1 strike, top of the 4th. Xavier Smith over at first after he got hit by the pitch. Paratano this season comes into today with a 196 batting average across his first 14 games as a Blue Sox. Big swing and a miss from the first baseman, 1-2.
Just what you want to see after plunking the first batter. And Smith, it's going to take Geloff some time to settle in here to Saugerties, but he's a proven arm.
Stallions have had a lot new players come in over the past week. The 1-2 from Gallup is fouled away. Count remains at 1-2. A lot of guys on the offense. Adonis Medina, Andrew Ray, Brandon Fish, 3 guys all playing tonight for the Ponies. Playing in their first home game of the season as a Stallion here in 2025. Gallup joins that list and gets Paratano swinging for his first strikeout as a Stallion here in the summer of 2025 and the first out in the 4th.
That's just what you want to see out of Dan Gallup. You hit your first batter, you bounce back with the strikeout, and now there's 1 out on the board.
11th strikeout for Paratano, and this being game number 15. Brings up the shortstop, Matt Colella, who was on base his first time up. He drew a 4-pitch walk from Heath. Smith goes away from first. Lino snap throw down in time. Tag is there. You bet. Anthony Lino catches Xavier Smith trying to steal second base, and now there's 2 out in the inning. What a throw from the High Point product.
That wasn't the best throw out of Lino, but he got there in time, and he gave him a chance to slap the tag over. A nice job here, and Gallup getting some help from his defense puts 2 outs on the board.
The 1-0 pitch in there for a strike. 1-1 count to Matt Colella. And Dan, now that's 2 out of the last 3 games for a Stallions pitcher making their debut, getting a little help from their defense. The 1-1 pitch is a swing and a miss, strike 2. Going back to the Amsterdam game, Jake Martino made his debut in relief of Ryan Franklin. And there was the double play from Adonis Medina in left over to first that really helped him out when there were nobody out in the inning.
That's what you got to do here if you're a pitcher for the Stallions. Rely on your defense.
Gallup just misses the outside corner. Now count back to even. 2 balls, 2 strikes, and now 2 outs after the caught stealing. Anthony Lino gunned down Xavier Smith. He reached by way of a hit by pitch in the inning.
Watch out for Gallup to really be a guy as the Stallions go on here in the last 10 games to give you length. Led F&M in innings in 2024.
Forces a swing and a foul ball from Colella. In this at-bat, count remains at 2-2. Colella this season, he's been very consistent for the Utica Blue Sox, hitting .308 across 29 games as a member of the Blue Sox. He's played in every game but 2 this summer. The 2-2 pitch misses outside. Now, after what was a 1-2 count a couple pitches ago, it's now full.
It seems like Gallup's just trying to find the perfect pitch. You just got to pound the zone here if you're him. A very proven arm that knows his stuff, and he recognized after that last pitch as well. Was shaking his head.
Does not work out of the windup, the kick, and the pitch from the right-hander. Breaking ball in there for strike 3. Completely freezes Colella. Second strikeout of the ball game, second strikeout of the 4th, and second strikeout of the summer of 2025. For Dan Gallup sends the Ponies to bat in the bottom of the 4th. Score remains 1-1. Welcome back. Brandon Fish steps in for his second plate appearance, now in an 0-1 count against Luke Baker. Comes into this inning, retired 7 in a row after he allowed a run back in the first inning. The wind, the kick, the pitch, misses low. 1 ball and 1 strike. Nick Zuppi alongside Dan Challa. Bottom of the 4th inning, Ponies and Blue Sox knotted up at 1. Both teams have 1 hit as well. And both teams also scored in the first inning. Since then, nothing but zeros for either team. Fish leading things off. Pops this one out of play, foul along the third base line. So now count is 1-2. Dan, both pitchers, Dan Galliff comes in for Heath last inning, and Baker to this point in the ballgame have really done a nice job of settling down.
Certainly have. There really has been no traffic outside of that first inning.
The wind, the kick, the pitch from Baker misses low. 2 balls and 2 strikes to Brandon Fish, who's playing in only his second game as a Stallion this summer, but a guy who's well familiar with Saugerties. He's played for the Ponies in the last 3 seasons. The 2-2 pitch is lined out into center field. Jones goes back on it, camped underneath it, and makes the play for out number 1 in the 4th.
That's now 4 straight flyouts into center field for this Stallions offense. They've been hitting the ball well, just straight to Jones.
They only have 1 strikeout, that being in the 2nd inning when Anthony Lino led things off and went down swinging. But Baker as a whole doesn't really strike out many guys. He only averages about less than a half a strikeout per inning pitched on the year. Comes into today with 32 2/3 innings thrown for the Utica Blue Sox. Casey Comiskey steps in and takes upstairs. 1 ball and no strikes. Comiskey has the lone RBI in this ballgame for the Ponies. It was an RBI single back in the first on the first pitch he saw from Luke Baker out on the mound. Takes upstairs once more, now 2-0.
Just need to see some momentum here for the Stallions. They've had next to nothing against Baker over these last few innings. 8 in a row have been put out.
The 2-0 misses high and in. 3-0.
Maybe that can change right here.
Comiskey has the lone hit of the ball game. Ponies have had a couple other base runners. Medina and Paso were hit by a pitch. Carroll and Fitzsimmons walked. The 3-0 to Comiskey misses inside ball 4. Third walk of the evening for Baker allows Casey Comiskey to reach base for Dylan Fitzsimmons.
It's the first base runner for Saugerties since the first inning. It's been a while.
That snaps 8 straight hitters being retired for the Stallions. And it's been 10 hitters since they've had a hit. Casey Comiskey had the RBI single back in the first inning. Dylan Fitzsimmons now steps in for his second plate appearance. He was on base the first time, though. He walked in that first inning where the Stallions sent 7 hitters to the batter's box, but only scored 1 run. Baker checks on Comiskey over at first, throw not in time. And Dan Baker actually had him leaning a little bit. If he makes a better throw, Comiskey might be out.
He hesitated there for a second, went towards second base first, and then went back. Was a little bit tricked up there.
Comiskey this year does have 13 stolen bases, loves to go on the first pitch, and is caught leaning once more. Baker's throw is low, not in time as well. Looks like Casey Comiskey might be on the move here.
He can go, Baker can go over to first as many times as he would like. No rule about that here in the PGCBL. And for your first base runner in 8 hitters, why not keep on close?
Fitzsimmons takes a strike. Comiskey stays at first as well. Dylan Fitzsimmons is playing in his 13th game as a Stallion. Through the first 12, a .200 batting average, 7 hits in 35 at-bats for the rising freshman to St. John's next year. Baker checks on Comiskey again 3 times. Now in this at-bat with Fitzsimmons where he's thrown over to first base, Comiskey's 13 for 14 on stolen bases this season. He's now second on the team, second on the team in that category. And there he goes away from first. Fitzsimmons flies this one out of play. Now an 0-2 count.
Got a good jump there, too. He probably would have been safe. Esposito's lone throw of the ball game was on line, but way back in the first, Medina beat it. So we'll see if he tests it again here in a 0-2 count.
Justin Ford leads the team in stolen bases. He has 16, and then Comiskey follows him with 13. For a team that loves to run the bases, they lead the league in the PGCBL. The 0-2 misses upstairs. Now 1-2 to Dylan Fitzsimmons. 1-1 ball game. Second place Stallions battling the fifth place Blue Sox. These two teams played just 2 days ago up at Donovan Stadium, where the Ponies won 7-6. And we're out hit, actually, 12-8. Fourth throw over to the first baseman, Paratano, to check on Comiskey from Baker.
Makes perfect sense. Comiskey already went over once on a foul ball and has been getting pretty big leads over there.
Comiskey not going anywhere and will actually hit Fitzsimmons on the foot, allowing the lefty swinging hitter to reach base. Now second straight plate appearance for him where he's been on base. And the Ponies have a runner in scoring position, something they haven't had since the first inning for Logan Sanchez.
And this is where Baker got into trouble all the way back. In the first inning, it was simply off of walks and hit by pitches. And the Stallions have their first runner in scoring position since that first inning.
He now has 3 walks and 3 hit by pitches here today, only giving up 1 hit. That was an RBI single from Casey Comiskey back in the first. But Logan Sanchez steps in for his second plate appearance with a runner at second base, that being Casey Comiskey. Takes upstairs 1 ball and no strikes. Sanchez was up when the bases were loaded back in the first inning, but he would ultimately fly out to the left fielder, Turchi, to end that threat. Esposito wants to go out and talk with Baker. Came into the at-bat with Comiskey, retiring 8 in a row. Since then, a walk to the shortstop and then a hit by pitch of Fitzsimmons. Sets up the Ponies with a runner on second and first. Only 1 out in the inning. Dan, for a guy, Logan Sanchez, who loves to drive in runs.
Certainly does. 20 RBIs on the season. And they're looking for him to come up clutch here in a big situation for the Stallions. They've been lacking offense. Just 1 hit on the board.
Baker checks on Comiskey over at second base. Now that's the 5th time here in the inning where Baker has stepped off the mound in an attempt to pick off Comiskey. He picked off Medina when he was over at second base and there was runners on first and second back in the first. The 1-0. Lined out into center field. Going back on it is Jones. Couple steps in front of the track. He will make the play. Comiskey tags from second to third. The throw from Jones is late on a hop. Productive out from Sanchez as he advances Comiskey 90 feet. Brings up Anthony Lino with runners on the corners and 2 down.
Just hitting the ball into center field has been a real problem for the Stallions. Their last 5 outs have come to the center fielder, Connor Jones.
Anthony Lino did not hit a fly ball to center field. In this one, he went down swinging in the second. The lone strikeout of the ball game for either team. Virgil Heath and Dan Gallup through the first 4 do not have a strikeout. Fitzsimmons goes away from first, pitch low in the dirt, allows him to slide in safely at second base. So now it's a 2-out, 2 RBI opportunity for Anthony Lino with Fitzsimmons over at second and Casey Comiskey over at third.
It's the right play. Second stolen base of the game for the Stallions, and now a ball to the outfield. Plates 2.
Baker will now work out of the windup. The wind, the kick, the pitch. Misses. Now 2-0. And Lino's a guy for the Stallions who really hasn't seen that consistent of playing time. He's only played in 7 games. Stallions have now 4 catchers on the roster. Lino doing the catching tonight. The 2-0 from Baker. Misses low in the dirt. Count goes to 3-0. Andrew Ray is on deck, the second baseman. Grounded out to third. His first time up.
That was a hard hit ball over to third base, though, so not necessarily a guy that the Blue Sox would like to face in a bases-loaded situation.
Lino squares the bunt, pulls it back, and takes a strike with the four-seam fastball. 3-1 count, 2 down in the inning, and 2 runners on for the Ponies. Casey Comiskey stands over at third. Dylan Fitzsimmons stands over at second. Anthony Lino in the batter's box for the Stallions. The wind, the kick, the pitch from Baker is lined out into right center field. Jones going on it, and he will make the play in the right center gap to end the bottom of the 4th inning. 3 flyouts to center field in the bottom of the 4th brings the Stallions to defense in the top of the 5th. Dan Galliff going out when we come back. Top of the 5th inning. Vincent Cowdery leading things off. He hit 6th in the lineup for the Utica Blue Sox, a team hitting 10 tonight, just like the Stallions. Both of these teams knotted at 1, and both have 1 hit through the first 4 innings on offense as well. Dan Galliff in relief of Virgil Heath. 2nd inning, toeing the slab for the Ponies. Fires in strike 2 to Cowdery, who in his first at-bat flew out to the center fielder, Crane. That ended the 1st inning, where the Utica Blue Sox plated their lone run of the ball game. That was on a double play from Anthony Paratano with the bases loaded that allowed Whitney to come around and score. First run of this ball game. The 0-2 from Galliff misses on the outside corner, 1-2.
And we're going to see how Galliff settles in. He got a little bit of help from the defense. Xavier Smith caught stealing, but back-to-back Ks. He's looked really sharp so far for Saugerties.
Cowdery flies this one out of play, so we'll do it again. 1 ball, 2 strikes, nobody out. Top of the 5th inning. Stallions and Blue Sox tied at 1. Both of these teams desperately need this game as well. Stallions 5 games back of the first place Mohawks. Utica Blue Sox only 1 game back of the 4th place Boonville Lumberjacks. That 4th place spot would determine the final playoff team in the Eastern Conference. Cowdery takes outside 2-2.
And as of right now, the Mohawks are tied with the Oneonta Outlaws 2-2 up at Shuttleworth Park, and the Lumberjacks leading the Diamond Dogs 3-1 in the top half of the 7th. Boonville on a 5-game losing streak going into that one.
And Boonville, Mohawk Valley, and Utica all separated by 1 game going on from the next. Cowdery works the full count walk, leadoff runner on for Utica here in the top of the 5th inning. Mohawk Valley 7.5 games back of first place. They're in 3rd, followed by Boonville, who's 8.5 games back, and then Utica in 5th, 9.5 games back. So one of those 2 teams is going to lose tonight between
the Boonville Lumberjacks and the Mohawk Valley Diamond Dogs. So if Utica can find a way to hold on, they're going to gain a game on one of those two teams.
Need to find a way to take the lead first.
Gallup checks on Cowdrey over at first base. Back-to-back innings where now the Utica Blue Sox have had the leadoff runner on. Xavier Smith was hit by a pitch to start things in the fourth, but then was eventually caught stealing. Gallup misses now 4 straight. Ball 1 to Waldley Rodriguez. He's the designated hitter for the Blue Sox tonight. Last time he hit was back in the second inning where he hit a ground ball to the third baseman, Fish. The 1-0 from Gallup misses upstairs, now 2-0.
Gallup hit Xavier Smith to start off his outing, but then produced back-to-back strikeouts. Going to be interesting to see how he fares here.
The kick and the pitch, breaking ball, misses inside. Now 3-0 count after being ahead of Cowdrey. No balls and 2 strikes. Gallup is a guy who's pitched plenty in his college tenure, 4 years at Franklin and Marshall. 219 innings pitched for the Diplomats. 3-0. Finally fires in a strike to Rodriguez. 3-1 count.
And walks, a little bit of a problem for Gallup across his 4 seasons at F&M. Every year had 27 or more base on balls issued and at least 43 innings pitched.
Now gets back in the count. Count goes full. 3 balls and 2 strikes. Nobody out, top of the 5th inning. Gallup making his PGCBL debut for the Ponies here in the summer of 2025. He came in for Heath back in the top of the 4th. The payoff pitch misses low. Ball 4. Back-to-back walks for the Blue Sox brings up Connor Jones with Vincent Cowdrey over at second base. An RBI opportunity for the center fielder.
That pitch just missed at the bottom of the zone. Thought Joe Lassapinera Sr. might have thought to call it, but he did not. So now he's got to work out a little bit of trouble, and Prax Vigil, pitching coach for the Stallions, out of the dugout.
And rightfully so. Gallup has run into a little bit of a jam here. There is now an arm throwing in the Stallions bullpen. It's a southpaw towing the slab out in the Dallas Hot Wieners bullpen for the Ponies. Gallup came in back in the 4th. He hit Xavier Smith to start things and then struck out Paratana and Kalela. In that inning as well, got some help from his defense. Lino caught Smith stealing for out number 2 in that inning. But here in the 5th, back-to-back walks to Cowdrey and Rodriguez brings up the center fielder Connor Jones, who, Dan's been very busy on the defensive side. 6 straight outs have been flyouts to him in center.
Certainly, and that's been a problem for the Stallions, especially in the 4th. They had 2 runners on base, 2 runners in scoring position, but could muster up nothing after back-to-back flyouts to center.
Stallions have left 5 runners on base through their first 4 innings of play. 4 of those have been in scoring position. Stallions had the bases loaded in the 1st when Logan Sanchez flew out to left. That ended the threat. Meeting on the mound is over. First pitch to Jones, misses outside, 1-0. Third baseman Fish is right along the infield grass here at Cantine, expecting the bunt from Jones. The kick and the pitch, not bunting, but swing and a miss for strike 1, and the throw from Lino goes over the head of Paso at first, and grounding second, and coming around to score is Cowdrey at the plate. Utica takes the lead 2-1 on the error from Lino behind the dish.
No reason to make that throw whatsoever, and he made it from his knees as well, skied it over Paso's head. And if you look at this play, Lino really didn't have a shot over there at first with Rodriguez. Paso's not the tallest guy in the whole world. Makes it hard for him to get there, and then you got a speedy guy in Cowdrey sitting on second. That's, in essence, a base hit to right field, and he comes in to score.
Stallions now have made 2 errors in the ballgame. Utica scored 2 runs off of that as well. The only run they scored in the first was unearned. Gallup fires in a strike. He's now ahead for the first time in this inning. 1 ball and 2 strikes. But Dan, going to that blunder from Lino, the first baseman Paso really had no idea that he was even going to throw over there.
No chance, no idea, and there was no reason for the throw.
The 1-2 pitch put in play. Gallup fields, freezes the runner at second, and will flip to Paso over at first base. For out number 1 here in the inning after Utica plates the go-ahead run just 2 pitches prior.
That's a great job right there from Gallup. chases Rodriguez back to the bag at second, makes sure he stays there, and then makes a comfortable throw to first. Just the play you want out of your pitcher.
Joey Esposito steps in for the Blue Sox with Waldy Rodriguez out on second base. First pitch to Esposito, misses outside, 1-0. His lone plate appearance was back in the second inning where Plaga Rodriguez grounded out to third. That's the only 1-2-3 inning of the ballgame for a Stallions pitcher, actually back in the second, when Heath worked 3 groundouts in that half inning. The 1-0, foul tip to the netting behind home plate for strike one.
And the problem for the Stallions has just been defense in this game. Had an error up in Utica the other night and a couple against the Mohawks, so a trend that really wasn't a trend becoming apparent once again here.
Through the first 3 meetings with the Utica Blue Sox, Stallions have made 6 errors, now 8 in 3.5 games against the Blue Sox. Esposito takes inside 2-1. Joey Esposito has been struggling for Utica, this being game number 10, as a member of the Blue Sox, hitting below 100 at .067 this season for Utica. The 2-1 from Gallup is a strike on the outside corner. Count back to even at 2.
And that's the right mentality against a guy like Esposito who's really been struggling. Just pound the zone and let him beat you.
Esposito still looking for his third RBI of the year. He comes into today with 2. Rodriguez stands over at second. The 2-2 from Gallup misses upstairs. Count full, 3-2.
I would just go back to the fastball if I'm Gallup. That's what's been working for him so far in this outing. Off speed has been good, not great. Side, go to the 4-seam.
Good opportunity for Gallup to get out of things here with the number 9 and 10 hitters due up for Utica. Esposito hits 9th on deck as Louis Huang hitting 10th for the Blue Sox. Esposito grounds this one up the middle. Comiskey fires over to first in time for out number 2, and a big out at that. Keeps Rodriguez on base. If that ball got up the middle, Utica plates a run, and it's 3-1.
Great job there by Comiskey. He's been nails on the infield all season long for Saugerties. Great stuff out of him right there, and now Gallup is just an out away from getting out of this inning.
Comiskey's played a little second. He's played a little third. He's played shortstop here tonight. He's also played first base as well. A guy who's been a staple for the Stallions defense all summer long. Gallup fires in strike one to Louis Huang, who plays second base for the Utica Blue Sox tonight. He hit back in the third inning and grounded out to Comiskey over at short. He led off the inning as well. Utica would end that inning with a double play that was actually hit to Comiskey as well. The 0-1 from Gallup put in play foul. 0-2 count for Dan Gallup, 1 pitch away from getting out of things here in the 5th inning. Utica has already plated 1 run in the inning, that being unearned. Anthony Lino snap throw down to the first baseman. Paso trickled over his head and into the outfield, allowing Vincent Cowdrey to come in to score. The 0-2 from Gallup misses outside, 1-2.
Gallup's a strikeout machine this past season with F&M. 68 strikeouts for him, over 62 2/3. That's over a strikeout every inning thrown.
He had 2 in the 4th, looking for strikeout number 3 as Huang just gets enough of it to stay alive. We'll do it again at 1 ball and 2 strikes, 2 outs, top of the 5th. Waldy Rodriguez over at third after he reached base by way of a walk here in the inning. Back-to-back walks started things for the Blue Sox. Since then, Gallup gets 3 consecutive outs, and his 3rd strikeout of the ball game comes courtesy of Louis Huang. Utica takes the lead 2-1 on an error from the catcher, Anthony Lino. We'll be right back from Cantine. Stallions coming back. Welcome back to Cantine, bottom of the 5th inning. Nick Zuppi alongside Dan Shalom. Utica takes the lead in the top half. They scored their run on an error from the catcher, Anthony Lino. Tried to snap down and back pick Rodriguez over at first, but it got over the first baseman's head. Trickled into the outfield and allowed Cowdrey to score from second base. Utica did not have a hit in that inning as well. First 2 runners reached by way of a walk before Dan Gallup gets 3 consecutive outs, and the last one was a strikeout swinging of Huang. Brings the Ponies up to bat here in the 5th. Andrew Ray will lead things off.
It's time for the Stallions to get going here. It's just been fly out after fly out after fly out after fly out after fly out to center field. Said that 6 times in total because that's been all 6 of the outs over the last 2 innings for Luke Baker.
Stallions also have 2 more flyouts. Both of those 2 left. Brandon Fish and Logan Sanchez have both flown out to left field. That was back in the 1st inning. And the last Stallion hit was back in the 1st inning. To this point in the ballgame, that's the only hit as well for the Ponies on offense. Luke Baker still in and fires strike 1 to Andrew Ray. Last time Ray was up, he grounded out to 3rd. Xavier Smith robbed him of a hit, made a nice sliding play to his glove side for out number 2 in that inning. The wind, the kick, the pitch from Baker. Ray squares around and bunts it right back to him. Fields off the mound, throws over to first in time for out number 1 here in the 5th.
Why not try something at this point if you're the Stallions? But if you are Ray, you got to get that bunt closer to the third base side. He grounded that one straight back to Baker and made it too easy.
Third baseman Smith was back, so it's not a bad attempt from Ray. Just like you said, Dan, he's got to get it down the third base line if he's going to do it again. Bringing up Griffin Crane, who's done plenty of bunting this year. He loves to bunt for hits, swinging away. Here in the 5th, takes outside 1-0. Crane hitting 10th in the lineup tonight. Both teams using the extra hitter. For the Ponies, the extra hitter is Cam Carroll. He's hitting 2nd in the order. But Crane grounded out to short back in the 2nd the last time he was up. The 1-0 pitch lined up the middle and just outside the glove of Colella for a base hit. 2nd hit of the ball game for the Stallions comes here in the 5th inning, courtesy of Griffin Crane. And Dan, it's the first hit since the 1st inning.
Finally. It's only been a matter of time. Crane doing what he does best right there. Just contact hitting. And now you got speed at first and speed on the plate. Would not be surprised here if you see a steal out of Griffin Crane and then the bunt from Medina.
Crane has 9 stolen bases in 9 games played as a Stallion. He had 5 in 1 game against the Oneonta Outlaws a couple days ago. Here at Cantine, first pitch to Adonis Medina has to wait as Baker checks on Crane over at first, and he, like Comiskey, loves to run on the first pitch. I would not be surprised if Crane uses those legs to set up Medina with a runner in scoring position. Fakes the steal there. Medina swings and misses for strike 1.
Medina right there. He had a great jump.
Medina hitting leadoff for the Ponies here tonight. Through the first 2 plate appearances, was hit by a pitch in the 1st and flew out to center field. Back in the 3rd. Crane over at first. He just singled 2 pitches ago. Baker checks on him one more. Diving back safely is Crane. Baker checked on Comiskey 4 times last inning when he was over at first base after he walked in that inning. Baker in this one as well also picked off Adonis Medina when he was on second base back in the 1st. Crane goes away from first, pitch out. The throw down is low, and a bad throw from Esposito allows Griffin Crane to slide in safely for his 10th stolen base of the season, and now Medina has an RBI opportunity.
Good jump right there by Crane, and they were pitching out. They knew the steal was coming. The throw down from Esposito just got in front of Huang a little bit. Couldn't cover the bag comfortably. For me now, I'm having Medina lay down the bunt and get Crane over to 3rd.
Still 1 out in the inning. Cameron Carroll is on deck, and he's driven in a lot of runs for the Ponies, 12 this summer in 18 games as a Stallion. Baker steps off second. The throw there is not in time. He had Crane leaning toward 3rd. A play that we saw earlier, Dan, that we alluded to a little bit ago here in the at-bat to Medina, where Medina was actually picked off and back in the 1st.
And Crane nearly found himself in the same situation right there. Was lucky that Huang had to go across the bag for that throw. Otherwise, he would have been out.
The 1-1 from Baker on the outside corner. For a strike. Medina does not like that call. Last night, he had the swing of the ball game for the Stallions, a 3-run home run in the 4-run fifth inning that propelled the Stallions to the victory. They only scored in 4 of the 10 innings last night, 1 in the 10th. That gave them the 7-6 victory over these very Utica Blue Sox. Baker steps off and throws over to second. Huang applies the tag, but the ball goes in and out of his glove, so Crane will be safe regardless.
I'm not sure what Crane was doing right there. He saw that Baker was looking and kind of hesitated to get back to the bag and then got right back there at the last second. Lucky that Huang fumbled the ball over there at second. He really should have been out right there.
Big lead from Crane over at second as well. The kick and the pitch from Baker is lined out into center field. It will get down for a base hit. Crane has to stop at third. Throw cut off by the first baseman, Paratano. Back-to-back singles from Crane, and Medina sets up Cameron Carroll with runners on the corners and only 1 out in the inning.
And now you can really get creative with Medina's speed over there at first base. Got to put him in motion here at some point in this at-bat, and if there's a throw down, Crane will come home. Utica brings the corners in.
After 14 straight at-bats without a hit, the Stallions now have 2 in a row. Griffin Crane over at third. Adonis Medina over at first. Cameron Carroll steps in against Luke Baker in a 2-1 ball game. First pitch to him is outside 1-0.
That was not a competitive pitch right there from Baker. He was throwing outside part of the zone, waiting for the steal from Medina. It's going to happen at some point. Just a matter of when.
And the third baseman for Utica, Xavier Smith, is actually on the grass as well, maybe anticipating for Cameron Carroll to drop down a bunt. Medina goes away from first to second. No throw down as Esposito pump fakes the throw. Carroll pulls back the bunt. 2 balls and no strikes. 2 stolen bases in the inning for the Stallions. Now they have 4 for the ball game. Sets up Cameron Carroll with runners on second and third. Here with 1 out in the bottom of the 5th.
Infield comes in here for Utica. Time to get a hard hit ball on the infield if you're Cam Carroll.
A base hit to the outfield would give the Stallions the lead. Carroll nubs this one foul right into the Stallions' dugout for strike 1.
He wants that one back. Was looking up into the sky after that pitch. He knew it.
And this is a guy who's been hitting all summer as well. .322 batting average coming into today. To go with nearly a .500 on-base percentage. The 2-1 from Baker is flied foul. Will it stay in play? No, it will not. It will go out of play for strike 2. Baker does a nice job of working the count back to even. 2 balls and 2 strikes, 1 out. Bottom of the 5th inning. Stallions trailing 2-1, but they are threatening. Griffin Crane over at third. Adonis Medina over at second. They both singled here in the inning. Bringing up Cameron Carroll. The wind, the kick, the pitch from Baker. Just misses outside. Count goes full 3-2.
Don't want to load the bases for Dylan Passo, who's had a couple hard hit balls here tonight.
Passo had a hard hit ball last night as well. He had a triple to go along with 3 hits against the Utica Blue Sox 2 nights ago. The payoff from Baker. Popped foul out of play, so we'll do it again. 3 balls and 2 strikes with only 1 out in the bottom of the 5th. Cam Carroll doing the hitting for the Ponies. He actually scored the lone run of the ballgame for the Stallions back in the 1st inning when Casey Comiskey scored him with an RBI single. Ninth pitch coming up from Baker to Carroll. The payoff pitch lined right at the first baseman, Paratano. Sliding back safely to third is Griffin Crane, and Carroll hit that one on the screws, but it was right at Paratano over at first.
Unfortunate break for Cam Carroll. Can't ask for much more out of him right there. Put up a great fight in the at-bat, pushed the count to full. Just unlucky.
He got a hold of it, but Paratano was placed in the perfect spot, robbing Carroll of a base hit and potentially 2 RBIs as well. Dylan Passo now steps in for his 3rd plate appearance. The wind, the kick, the pitch from Baker misses upstairs 1-0. To this point in the ball game, Paso reached by way of a hit by pitch in the first inning and flew out to center field back in the third. All 3 flyouts were to the center fielder Jones in that inning as well. The 1-0 from Baker, lined out into left field. Turchi going back on it. He's camped underneath it and makes the play for out number 3 in the bottom of the 5th inning. Stallions had back-to-back singles from Crane and Medina, but leave them at second and third. We're going to the top of the 6th. Utica still leads 2-1. Top of the 6th inning, Ponies trailing 2-1 and make a Dallas Hot Wieners call to the bullpen. John Hacker comes in relief of Dan Galliff. He threw 2 innings, the 4th and 5th, did not give up a hit, but gave up the run in the 5th that has given the Utica Blue Sox the lead. That was unearned, however. Both runs for Utica are unearned here today. An error from the catcher, Lino. Last inning gave the Blue Sox the lead. Hacker comes in here in the 6th. Pitching to the leadoff man, Avery Whitney. He's the extra hitter for the Utica Blue Sox tonight. Hacker making his 2nd appearance here in the summer of 2025. Fires a strike to Whitney. Count back to even at 1. Last time Hacker pitched was back on July 8th against the Amsterdam Mohawks right here at Cantine, where he went 3 1/3 innings, only gave up 1 earned. Misses outside. Count goes to 2-1.
Hacker's a big lefty. Loves the fastball. Has a good amount of tail and run.
Misses with consecutive pitches. Now count sits at 3 balls and 1 strike. Hacker is a big lefty out on the mound. Stands 6'4", weighing 215 from Saddlebrook, New Jersey. 3rd pitcher for the Stallions here in this point in the game. Fires a strike. That Whitney fouls out of play. Count goes full, 3-2. Dan Galliff had 3 strikeouts in his 2 innings of work. Virgil Heath did not have a strikeout in his 3 innings of work. He started for the Ponies. John Hacker 1 strike away from his first of the ball game. The payoff to Whitney misses low, ball 4. And now 3 straight innings for Utica, where they've had a leadoff runner on by way of a walk or a hit by pitch.
And Whitney's a very speedy guy there. At first base, don't be surprised if he's put into motion.
Whitney has 2 stolen bases coming into today and only 4 games played as a Blue Sox. Over there at first, does not go anywhere. James Turchi takes strike 1. Turchi has the lone hit of the ball game for Utica to this point. Here in the top of the 6th inning, it was a single back in the 1st. He was then stranded at 3rd when Vincent Cowdrey flew out to center field that ended the threat for Utica. Hacker checks over on Whitney at 1st.
That's something that Hacker is going for him as well. He has a nice pickoff move over there at 1st, and given that he's a lefty, he can fake to the plate and toss over to 1st.
First lefty for the Stallions as well here tonight. Heath and Galliff both throw from the right side. Whitney dancing away from 1st. Hacker taking his time, kicks and fires, and misses. 1 ball and 1 strike to James Turchi. Turchi leads the team in average at .455 coming into today in his first 10 games as a Blue Sox. 15 hits and 33 at-bats. Hacker just misses low in the zone, 2-1, and Dan, the Ponies dugout wanted that one.
Certainly it missed it just a tiny bit low. Hacker still has to work out of trouble here.
The 2-1 from the southpaw in there for strike. 2 balls and 2 strikes now. Nobody out. Top of the 6th inning. Utica leading 2-1, but they've only notched 1 hit here in this one. Both of the runs they've scored are unearned to this point in the ball game. The 2-2 from Hacker. Popped up foul. Passo, the first baseman, takes a look on the run and makes the play right next to the Blue Sox dugout for out number 1 here in the top of the 6th. Nice play from the rising freshman of Notre Dame.
Just what you want to see. Take advantage of those extra outs in foul territory. Stallions do just that. Gives Hacker a little bit of breathing room.
Xavier Smith now steps in against Hacker. Smith, the third baseman, hits from the right-handed side. He's been on base in both plate appearances here today and was hit by a pitch in both of those as well. So no official at-bats for him to this point in the ball game. First pitch to Smith, misses outside, 1-0. Now 3 straight hitters in the inning where Hacker has started in a 1-0 count, and this is a guy who was money the last time he pitched against the Amsterdam Mohawks. 3 1/3, only allowed 1 earned. The 1-0 to Smith, misses low downstairs in the dirt, 2-0. Like Galliff, Hacker comes to the Stallions with plenty of college experience. This is a guy who's pitched 3 years for the Marist Red Foxes, made almost 40 appearances across 3 years at Marist. Smith flies this one out into left center field. Going back on it is Fitzsimmons. Couple steps in front of the track. He will make the play for out number 2 in the inning, and a loud out at that. That almost had home run pop.
Hacker's lucky that one stayed in the park. But regardless, 2 down in the inning.
Anthony Peritano now follows up Smith. Peritano hits 4th in the Utica order. He's 0 for 2 to this point. He struck out back in the 4th inning, 1 of 3 strikeouts for Dan Galliff in his 2 innings of work. The other at-bat for him was with the bases loaded and nobody out in the 1st inning, where he grounded into a double play that would lead to one of the 2 Utica Blue Sox runs to this point in the ballgame. Hacker checks on Whitney over at first base. Whitney has not tried to steal second yet. Speedy guy over there for Utica. This being game number 5 for the extra hitter. First pitch to Peritano in there for a strike. Now it's the first hitter of the inning where Hackers worked ahead 0-1. And this is the guy who you want to be facing in this scenario with 2 outs in the inning. Peritano's been struggling on the year. Comes into today with a 196 batting average. Takes outside there. 1-1.
Hacker's done a nice job since the walk of producing just fly balls, getting guys under it, using the off speed to his advantage.
The kick and the pitch from the southpaw is put in play, lined up the middle for a base hit. Whitney will stop at second base. First hit of the ballgame for Peritano, and it's the first hit for them since the 1st inning when James Turchi lined a single to the left side. Utica now set up with a runner in scoring position for Matt Colella.
Just shows you how solid the Stallion staff has really been in this game, and they've been close to tying it up, as well. Now need to really buckle down against Colella and get the bats back to the dish.
And 2 nights ago against the Blue Sox, against the Stallions, the Blue Sox mustered up 12 hits. Their big problem in that one was runners left on base. They left 12 guys on base, ultimately dropped it 7-6 to these very Stallions. Matt Colella now in a 1-0 count against John Hacker. First time that the Blue Sox have had a runner in scoring position since last inning. Colella flies this one out into center field. Crane goes back on it in the gap, camped underneath it, and makes the play for out number 3 in the inning. John Hacker comes on, allows 2 base runners, but comes into the dugout with a 0 on the scoreboard. Ponies going to hit in the bottom half. Stay with us. We're chugging along here at Canton. Nick Zuppi alongside Dan Shalom. Bottom of the 6th inning, and Utica makes a Dallas Hot Wieners call to the bullpen. Isaac Crosby comes in. For starting pitcher Luke Baker, Dan, he was phenomenal. 5 innings pitched, only 1 earned run against the Stallions offense.
Can't ask for much more out of your starter. Utica got everything and more that they wanted out of him, and now they turn to the bullpen, which was actually one of the main reasons why they stayed in the game last time, 2 nights ago, against the Stallions. But they're going to look for more of a solidified crew here. Chenwei Huang, 5 innings in the game a couple of days ago, let up 5 earned in the bullpen the rest of the way. Just 1 earned run.
Isaac Crosby now toeing the slab for the Blue Sox. This is appearance number 7 for him through his first 13 2/3 innings pitched this summer at 8.56 ERA. He will be greeted with 4-5-6 in the Stallions lineup. Brandon Fish will lead things off. Once a quick word with the catcher Esposito before we start play in the bottom of the 6th inning. Only 5 hits between the 2 teams to this point in the ball game. Stallions have 3. Utica has 2, but they have the lead. 2-1 here in the 6th inning. First pitch from Crosby to Fish misses upstairs. 1 ball and no strikes. Brandon Fish to this point is 0 for 2 with 2 flyouts. He flew out to left in the first and flew out to center in the fourth. The line, the kick, the pitch from Crosby misses low in the dirt, 2-0.
Fish batted .333 for the Stallions over 14 games last season, joined them late as well. So they're looking for the same consistency out of Brandon that they had last year.
The UMass Lowell product takes strike one on the fastball. Crosby now makes it a 2-1 count. Fish in the 2 playoff games last year for the Stallions as well went 2 for 6 in those 2 games, good for a .333 batting average. In the playoffs, he takes strike 2 on the four-seamer from Crosby. 2 balls and 2 strikes.
Stallions need a spark offensively. Just 3 hits on the ball game, and 2 of them coming in the early innings. Really need to get going here. They've left 2 runners left on base in the last 2 innings.
Fish takes a ball. Now count goes full to lead off things here in the bottom of the 6th inning. Stallions have not had the leadoff runner on since the 1st inning when Adonis Medina was hit by the pitch. He would be caught stealing in that inning as well. The Stallions plated their home run of the ball game in that inning. Fish flies this one out into left. It will fall for a base hit. Turchi makes the play in left. Fish takes a big turn over there. He will stop at first, but it's the 4th hit of the ball game for the Ponies and their first leadoff runner since the 1st.
There you go. Finally, Brandon Fish breaking through for the Stallions. Just what you want to see. And now Casey Comiskey coming to the plate, who's been the best hitter in the lineup tonight for Saugerties.
Fish 1 for 3 here today, picking up right where he left off for the Ponies last summer. A .333 batting average for him tonight, just like last summer with the Stallions. Brings up Casey Comiskey, who has been on base in both plate appearances here today. An RBI single back in the 1st, and he walked in the 4th. Both of those being against Luke Baker. First time he's facing Isaac Crosby. First pitch to Comiskey is a hard foul ball to the back of the net for strike 1.
Just the guy you want up here in this scenario. In the 1st inning for Comiskey, it was an RBI single in between short and third. Wasn't particularly hard contact, but he knows how to find the holes and get on base.
Comiskey's been with the Ponies since the 1st game of the season. Squares to bunt here. Everyone's charging, but Crosby will pick on Fish over at first base instead. Third baseman Smith for Utica now playing on the grass, expecting Comiskey to lay down the bunt in an 0-1 count. Crosby checks on Fish once more, diving back safely as Fish. And that's a guy for the Ponies who really didn't steal many bags. He only had 5 across 12 games as a Stallion last summer. Comiskey squaring the bunt once more. Smith will charge from third. The pitch from Crosby, and then the bunt is foul right in front of the feet of the catcher Esposito for strike 2.
That's stuff that Stallions have been working on in batting practice, just getting that bunt down. It was no secret to anybody that Comiskey was bunting right there, but he just gets over top, bounces it straight into the ground, and now got a swing and a 2-strike count.
And Comiskey's been swinging it well since his first 13 games as a Stallion. He's now played in 31 coming into today. Crosby checks on Fish once more. 3rd time in this at-bat he's done so. But Comiskey's hitting north of .350 in his last 16 games as a Stallion. Looking to pick up right where he left off in the 1st inning, where he had the lone RBI single for the Stallions in that inning. And the game takes upstairs. Now 1 ball and 2 strikes.
And for Esposito's sake, lucky that one didn't get by him. Was a very, very high fastball. See what Comiskey does here at a 1-2.
And this is a guy who doesn't really strike out as well. Only 8 strikeouts across 30 games as a Stallion. The 1-2 from Crosby fouled away behind home plate, so we'll do it again at 1 ball and 2 strikes. Bottom of the 6th inning, Brandon Fish over at first base after he led things off with a single against newly entered Isaac Crosby. He's in relief of starting pitcher Luke Baker, who got through the first 5 innings for Utica, only allowing 1 earned run on 3 hits. The kick and the pitch from Crosby. Swing and a miss. Strike 3. Comiskey goes down swinging. Second strikeout for Utica pitching here tonight. Brings up Dylan Fitzsimmons with Fish over at first and one out in the inning.
Just a rough at-bat right there if you're the Stallions. You wanted Comiskey to really get down the bunt. He can't do it, and then you chase on a pitch high in the zone. You need somebody to step up now or put Fish into motion.
Fitzsimmons steps in. Like Xavier Smith for Utica, he's yet to have an official at-bat here today. He walked in the first and was hit by a pitch in the fourth. He would then steal second base as well, one of the 4 stolen bags for the Ponies to this point in the ballgame, still trailing 2-1. First pitch from Crosby to Fitzsimmons, misses low in the dirt, and it gets by Esposito, allowing Fish to reach second, takes the long turn, and eventually stops third of the way between second and third, but nonetheless, Dan, the Stallions have a runner in scoring position for the 3rd straight inning.
You'll take it all the way, and I do think if Fish fully committed to going to third, he could have made it there in time, hesitated a little bit as you reach second base, but the Stallions will take it. That's the equivalent of the bunt right there by Comiskey, and now you give Fitzsimmons a chance to drive home the tying run in this game.
Fitzsimmons has 4 RBIs this season through his first 12 games as a Stallion. But leaving runners on base tonight for the Ponies has been a problem. They've left 7 guys on base through their first 5 innings on offense, and 5 of those have been stranded in scoring position. They left them loaded back in the first, runners on second and third in the fourth, first and second in the 5th inning. The 1-0 from Crosby. Misses outside, 2-0 on Fitzsimmons.
Fitzsimmons doing a nice job here in this at-bat. He's got a lot of power. Really just needs to control it. Crosby here in a situation that he's used to in the 13 2/3 he's pitched coming into this game. Has let up an earned run in each of them, 13 in total.
The 2-0. Crosby fires in the first strike of this at-bat with Fitzsimmons. 2 balls and 1 strike. Here to the number 6 hitter in the Ponies lineup, Dylan Fitzsimmons.
And Utica's got an arm going out there in the pen as well. They're known to really stretch out their relievers. In the last game, their first 2 pitchers went 10 innings in total. So they're looking to get some more length out of Crosby.
Baker gave them plenty of length, went the first 5. The 2-1 from Crosby just misses on the outside corner. Now count sits at 3-1. Fitzsimmons came in late last night, or 2 nights ago, against the Utica Blue Sox as a defensive replacement for John Freitag. Did not see an at-bat 2 days ago against the Blue Sox. Stallions won 7-6 up at Donovan Stadium. 3-1 pitch. Big swing and a miss from Fitzsimmons. Count now sits at 3-2, and Fitzsimmons was looking like he was trying to give the Stallions the lead on that swing.
Certainly was. He needs to shorten up the swing a little bit. Not the worst mentality right there because that was a good pitch to hit, but was just trying to kill the ball.
In a 3-1 hitter's count, he got the fastball, but just swung over the top of it for strike 2. The kick and the pitch from Crosby in there for strike 3. Fitzsimmons goes down looking with Brandon Fish still over at second base. Back-to-back strikeouts for Crosby brings up Logan Sanchez with 2 outs and a runner in scoring position for the Ponies.
That's the last thing you could do as well. If you are Fitzsimmons, at the worst, put the ball in play, force the defense to make a play. He gets rung up on the inside corner, and that one hurts the Ponies. You need Logan Sanchez to step up again here. Last 2 times he's been up, there's been a runner in scoring position, and he's 0 for 2.
And this is a guy who comes into today averaging an RBI per game played. 20 games and 20 RBIs. He takes up and in 1 ball and no strikes. Sanchez hit back in the first when the bases were loaded. He ended that threat with a fly out to left and flew out to center when there was runners on first and second. In the 4th inning, batting here in the 6th with once more an RBI opportunity, Brandon Fish stands out on second base as home plate umpire Joe Laspinera Sr. going to swap baseballs with Isaac Crosby through 2/3 of an inning in relief of Luke Baker. Has given up 1 hit to Brandon Fish, who led things off in the 6th with a blooper down the left field line, and then since struck out Comiskey and Fitzsimmons. swinging and looking respectively. The 1-0 to Sanchez. Misses up and in once more. Now 2 balls and no strikes.
Good hitters count here for Logan Sanchez. This is going to be probably something in the zone. He's going to have to put some contact on it here.
Crosby was down 3-0 to Fitzsimmons before he worked his way back and struck out the left-hander. Misses upstairs, and he's now down 3-0 to Sanchez here with Fish standing at second base and Anthony Lino on deck.
Pitching around him a little bit. Not the worst move. Sanchez has had some loud contact in this game. 2 flyouts to the outfield, and Lino on deck 0 for 2 with the strikeout and a lazy fly ball into center.
And Sanchez comes into today with a .288 batting average as opposed to Lino's .211. Taking all the way and takes strike 1 on the fastball. 3 balls, 1 strike, 2 outs in the inning. Bottom 6th, Brandon Fish stands over at second. He started things off with a single and then reached second base on a pass ball. Stallions trailing 2-1, but out hitting the Blue Sox 4-2. The 3-1 pitch to Sanchez. Misses inside, ball 4. It's a 5-pitch walk to the designated hitter, bringing up the catcher, Anthony Lino, against Isaac Crosby.
Kind of waiting for Lino to have a breakthrough moment for the Stallions. This is it right here with first and second 2 down. Nowhere to go for Utica, and here's the mound visit. See if they make the call to the pen. They've had the reliever warming, but this might just be a conversation on how they want to attack Lino.
The right-hander stopped throwing. He's waiting by the gate in the dugout. No signal from him as well. And it looks like there will be no pitching change against the catcher, Anthony Lino. To this point in the ball game, 0 for 2. Struck out swinging in the second and flew out to center field in the 4th. That was when runners were on second and third against Luke Baker.
Just a long talk here on the mound. Just need Lino to hit something hard between the holes. That would work.
Lino's only played in 7 games as a Stallion. Just finished his freshman year at High Point, and the last time he played was against the Boonville Lumberjacks back on July 12th in the 4-3 victory for the Ponies. So it's been about a week's time since Lino's seen action. 0 for 2 to this point. Can give the Stallions the lead with an RBI extra base hit against Crosby. First pitch to Lino in there for strike 1. Lino has 4 RBIs to this point in the summer of 2025. Brandon Fish stands over at second. He is the tying run. The 0-1 pitch, grounded in play over to short. Colella fields and goes the short way to second in time for out number 3 in the inning. Now 3 straight innings where the Stallions have left a runner in scoring position. They trail 2-1 going to the top of the 7th inning from Cantine. Stay with us.
John Hacker on the bump for Saugerties. Here in his second inning of work, Dan Shalom with you alongside Nick Zuppi here in the Pack Hub broadcast booth. Saugerties has had trouble bringing runners home over the last 3 innings. 2 left on base in each of those, and each of those times there's been at least 1 runner in scoring position. They're going to need to get gritty over these last 3, and Nick, that's something that they've relied on, the late inning comeback over the last few games.
Even looking at 2 nights ago against these Blue Sox, they scored 1 run in the 8th and 1 in the 10th to propel them to the 7-6 extra inning victory.
They're going to need some help here from John Hacker to put up a 0 in his first inning of work. Led 2 runners on base, but nothing ended up coming across for the Blue Sox here in the top of the 7th. It will be 6, 7, and 8 due up, starting with Vincent Cowdrey, the right fielder. Hacker set at the belt. Here's the first pitch. This is upstairs, 4-1. This has been a true pitcher's duel, 2-1 score line. Stallions with 4 hits in the game. Utica with just 2. And the 2 runs the Blue Sox have scored have come off of errors. So the Stallions as a staff have not let up an earned run thus far. Hacker's trouble finding the zone here. 3 balls and no strikes, similar to how he started last inning against Avery Whitney.
Hacker was behind 3-0 to 3 hitters in that inning as well, but got out of it, put up a 0 in the top half of the 6th.
That's a 4-pitch walk to start the inning to Cowdrey. 2nd walk in a row for him. Stallions have Greg Bruno stretching and warming out there in the bullpen, getting ready to go. Waldy Rodriguez, the designated hitter, at the plate. Cowdrey over at first. He was the 2nd run of this game for Utica. It's currently the winning run if things are to stay as is. First pitch foul back by Rodriguez. Stallions will have an off day tomorrow before traveling to Glens Falls on Sunday night. Then they will host the Boonville Lumberjacks on Monday before another off day on Tuesday. And we'll have all those games for you here on the Stallions YouTube network. With an Archtop Fiber pregame show just around 10 minutes before scheduled first pitch. Oneonta up at Amsterdam right now. Still a 2-2 ball game in the top of the 9th, and the Outlaws are threatening with 2nd and 3rd and nobody out. No balls and 2 strikes. Here against Rodriguez. Hacker fires, just misses at the top of the zone. Does not have a strikeout here tonight. Trying to search for one here.
Stallions pitching staff as a whole only has 3 strikeouts at this point in the ballgame, and they're all courtesy of Dan Galliff.
Hacker struggling again to find the zone. 2 balls, 2 strikes, runner at first. The Outlaws have taken the lead up there at Shuttleworth, so it's a 3-2 ball game, and they'll have a 1-run lead to defend in the bottom of the 9th. That would be a big one for the Stallions, regardless of what happens here tonight. Rodriguez goes down swinging to Hacker, his first K of the game, and there's 1 down.
And that would be a big win for the PGCBL standings as a whole, Dan. If the Stallions can somehow find a way to come out with a victory here tonight against Utica, they would pick up a whole game on the Amsterdam Mohawks, a team who are sitting atop the PGCBL. The magic number sits at 9. They need to win their 5 of their last 9 to clinch the number 1 spot.
2 of those games will be against the Stallions here at Cantine Field. Connor Jones in the box for the Blue Sox takes a first pitch strike. 0-1. Lino does a nice job framing that one behind the dish, and now no balls and 2 strikes to Connor Jones. Strike 3. Got him. Looking. Back-to-back Ks for John Hacker. He's starting to find it. And now, getting thrown out of the game is Connor Jones. He's been ejected from this one after arguing with home plate umpire Joe Lasapanera Sr.
He had something to say after that strikeout, went down looking, and now the head coach for Utica is going to go talk with Lasapanera Sr. Jones now 0 for 3 with that strikeout, and that's where his line will end.
And that was confidently in the zone, that one. So Utica's going to need to replace their center fielder when they come out on defense in the bottom of the 7th. And at the dish now is Joey Esposito, the catcher. That's the first time that a player has been ejected in a game for the Stallions so far this season. It didn't seem like there was any real argument at home with Lasapanera Sr. It must have been just something he said under his breath to trigger the ejection.
Dan, that's now 3 consecutive games that we've broadcasted, 3 out of the last 4, where there's been an ejection.
Certainly stemming all the way back from Keith Griffin's ejection a few days ago up at Shuttleworth Park. Hacker deals. 2 balls and 1 strike. Hacker fires, misses outside. The biggest thing here for Hacker with 2 on the board, 2 outs that is. Don't let anything across and give the Stallions a chance. 9-10-1 due up in the bottom half of the 7th. Three ones popped up into foul territory. Moving over is Lino, and he missed it by a mile. That ball landed behind him. He couldn't track it. Regardless, it's a full count, 3-2.
Lino just outran it a little bit behind the dish, but no harm, no foul. Count now sits at 3 balls and 2 strikes.
Hacker looking to strike out the side here in the top half of the 7th after issuing leadoff walk. The payoff nearly had Esposito. Three balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs on this pitch. Cowdrey will go over to second. Payoff. Lined over to short. Comiskey's there to make the play. Nothing comes of the leadoff walk. Time to stretch here at Cantine Field. 1-run ball game. Bottom of the 7th here at Cantine Field. Dan Schaum with you alongside Nick Zuppi. And the Stallions need some offense. Need to get going. Haven't scored a run since the first, but over the last 3 innings, Nick, 2 runners left on base, and in each of those innings, runner has been left in scoring position.
Somebody just needs to find the big hit. Someone needs to break the ice and finally put the Stallions in the run column here tonight.
It'll be Andrew Ray to lead things off here for Saugerties in the bottom of the 7th. Gonna need some late magic. Feels like every time these two teams play, it's as tight as ever. Going into the first matchup here at Cantine Field, the run differential between these two sides sat at 0 over the last 6, and that's standing true 2 nights ago up in Utica and also here tonight. 2 balls, no strikes to the Rhode Island product, Andrew Ray was thinking of his teammate Ryan King, who just left the Stallions after he went on a tear. 10 RBIs over his last 4 games before departing the squad.
Ended the season on an 8-game hitting streak as well.
2-1. Big cut and a miss out of Ray. And the count's knotted at 2. Crosby fires and Ray's down on strikes. Got himself into a 2-0 count. Can't keep up with the heat, and there's 1 down here in the 7th. Griffin Crane will be next. 10-hole hitter. Had what was the Stallions' second hit of the ball game at the time. One 1-0 pitch. Crane was looking to lay down the bunt, pulls it back. 2 balls, no strikes. And going back to the Blue Sox ejection, Connor Jones thrown out of the game by Joe Lassapinera Sr. Taking over in center field, RJ Tomei. 3-0 pitch, just what the Stallions wanted. They've got Crane on base, speedy as ever. Just what they want with the top of the order. Now coming around, Adonis Medina in the box.
And last time Medina hit, it was when Crane was over at first. These two really tried to spark a rally themselves, 2 speedsters for the Ponies, back-to-back singles, but ultimately they would be stranded on base after Dylan Passo flew out to left and ended it.
Crane gets his lead off of first. We'll give a quick check on him. Nearly had him at first base. Gets back there safely. Stallions have been caught in a pickle in this game. Adonis Medina, who's at the dish, was caught leading between second and third all the way back in the first inning. Crane goes over to second. It was a high fastball pitching out on purpose, but Juan can't get to the bag in time, and it's a stolen base.
Second stolen base of the ball game for Crane, and now 5th for the Stallions here today.
Runner in scoring position here for Saugerties is Crane, and they desperately need to tie up this game. Haven't had any offense since the first inning. Just the guy you want here with Crane at second. Medina's going to call time. Now is ready. Off speed, middle of the zone, and you could tell Medina wanted that one back. That was an off-speed pitch, middle. And that was similar to what he jacked up in Utica a couple of nights ago. 1-1. Misses down low. 2 balls, 1 strike here to Adonis Medina.
Now 4 straight innings for the Stallions where they've had a runner in scoring position. Dan, who is going to be the guy that delivers the big hit? I think it's going to be Medina right here.
Certainly hoping so for the Stallions' sake. Crane's going to go over to third. He got a great jump. Here's the throw down. In time. Nabbed. Good jump. Not good enough. And there's 2 outs on the board. And that is the second time in this game that the Stallions have been caught stealing. Just the second time overall that Crane himself has been out trying to take an extra 90.
He's now 11 for 13 on the season. Just you can't have that if you're the Ponies. A base running mistake this late in the ball game, especially with a runner in scoring position.
And that just seems a little bit unnecessary there, especially with only 1 down in the inning. Let it play out, and now they've got Medina at first, but you really would have liked to have Crane at second.
Especially since Cameron Carroll's coming up to the batter's box, a guy who's been crushing the baseball all summer for the Stallions, and he crushed one in his last at-bat in the 5th inning when there were runners on the corners. It's just the first baseman, Paratano, was perfectly placed.
Stallions are going to need to dig deep here for a comeback against the Blue Sox in a game where they really have not been successful at playing their brand of baseball. Carroll takes a first pitch strike.
And this is an offense, Dan, that can win a game by way of the extra base hit. They have 85. They lead the PGCBL in that category. Or they could play small ball and steal the base as well. They also lead the PGCBL in that category.
See if Medina tests it. He does not. Esposito frames it up. Called for a strike. That's 0-2. The big hit hasn't been there all day for Saugerties. Only 4 on the board. Large in part as to why they're trailing this game just 2-1. And it feels really like more of a lead for Utica than just a singular run. With how this offense has been going along, they tried to get Esposito to fumble the ball. That was one of the fake steals that we've seen a lot of the time from the Stallions. He did throw down, but nobody ended up going. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Crosby fires. Called for strike 3 on the outside part of the plate. Another inning where 2 Stallions get on. Another inning where nothing comes across. 1-run ball game going to the 8th. Dallas Hot Wiener is called to the bullpen here for the Stallions in the 8th. Greg Bruno is on in relief of John Hacker.
Last time Bruno pitched was in the 8-1 victory against the Oneonta Outlaws. He threw a season-high 3 innings of just 1 earned baseball.
See how he fares here for the Blue Sox against 10-1-2. First pitch in there for a strike. Bruno is known for the fastball, tops out at just around 97, and is headed to Seton Hall next season. Stallions have not found runs very easy to come by in this game. Ever since the first, it's been straight up zeros, and this game becomes a lot more crucial as Oneonta has knocked off Amsterdam up there, 3-2 the final. So Saugerties could gain a full game on Amsterdam with a win here tonight. Talk about crucial. 6 outs left to go. This one becomes a lot more important now.
Oneonta, it's just their 5th win of the season. They went into Shuttleworth losers of 9 in a row and 21 and a half games back of first place. Knock off the Mohawks 3-2.
Stallions need this one badly if they want to push for first place. That is a big help out of Oneonta. But you got to focus on what's in front of you. Saugerties is still down by 1, and they're going to need a comeback in the 8th or the 9th. Lewis Huang cuts on it, misses, 2 balls and 2 strikes. Just to go back to that, Nick, that Oneonta team had not beaten Amsterdam whatsoever. However, had played them tight previously. The last game between the two sides, 8-7 in Amsterdam's favor at Damaski Field. And that's an Amsterdam squad, too, that burned a lot of pitching over the last few days. They have not had an off day since they played Saugerties. 2-2 is grounded over to the right side. Ray Fields throws to first, and there's one down.
Big out number 1 for Bruno here coming in to work in the 8th inning. If the Stallions are going to come back and win today, it's going to start with Bruno on the mound. He has to put up a 0 here in the top half of the 8th. Get the offense back in. You got 3, 4, 5 due up next inning. Paso, Fish, and Comiskey all have been on base today.
And it is seeming like the Blue Sox will go to a new arm starting in the 8th. That ball's dropped by Lino, but still called for a strike. Ryder Stowasser getting loose out there. A 3.48 ERA for him in 6 appearances so far this season. Did pitch against the Stallions last time here on July 4th. We'll see if he is to come into this ball game. Went just a singular inning, giving up an earned run, and that was the winning run for Saugerties. They scored that in the 8th, so maybe Stallions hoping that lightning can strike twice here at Cantine Field. 2-1 count to the leadoff man, Avery Whitney. Bruno fires. Weak ground ball over to the first base side. Paso tosses to Bruno. A nice little PFP out of the new Seton Hall man, and there's 2 down.
Bruno's come in and throw nothing but strikes. 2 ground outs to the right side. 2 nice plays from the defense as well. Ray with the slider, and then Bruno covering first after Paso fielded it. Needs to find a way to get out of this clean for the Ponies.
Bruno produces a ground ball out of Churchy. Throw to first is there. It's a 1-2-3 top half of the 8th. He can't ask for much more. Out of Greg Bruno. Does a great job coming out of the bullpen. Stallions have got 3, 4, 5 coming up in the bottom of the 8th, trailing by 1. Sounds good. A comeback. Yep. Back here in Saugerties, Stan Schaub with you alongside Nick Zuppi. Stallions trailing this game by a run, and Henry have hit the last part of the season. We bring in our sideline reporter, Henry Hipschman. Amsterdam Mohawks leading the East by 5 games. They've now got 8 to go, but a big result up at Shuttleworth Park could have the Stallions back in the running.
Yeah, big news around the PGCBL. Formerly 4-28, now 5-28. Oneonta Outlaws defeated the division-leading Amsterdam Mohawks tonight 3-2 through 9 innings. Now, this is really big for the Stallions, who are trying to find their way into first place, or at least close the gap between them and the Amsterdam Mohawks as the season comes to a close. And this is an Oneonta team that's 14th in hits, 14th in runs, and 15th in RBIs this season, and somehow they were able to overcome the Mohawks tonight.
I'll tell you one thing, they didn't really hit it a whole lot, Henry. They only had 3 runs in the ballgame, but it was enough to get them across the finish line. And a big part of that win as well was their relief pitcher, Thomas Burciaga, who came into that game and shut things down for the Outlaws. 4 innings for him, 2 hits of no-run ball. Big thanks to our Henry Hipschman. He's been providing us with great analysis throughout tonight's game, and excited to hear from him as we go along here over the last inning and a half of this one here at Cantine Field. Dylan Passo leading things off. He'll take a first pitch strike. The new arm on the mound is Ryder Stowasser for the Blue Sox.
And Stowasser has been good for the Blue Sox this summer.
And Passo flares the ball over to short. On a hop, Colella throws to first in time. 1 down.
This is appearance number 7 for the right-hander for Utica. Pitched to a 3.48 ERA across his first 10 and a third innings coming into tonight.
The way this game has gone for Saugerties, it really feels like it's going to be now or never to make the comeback. In the bottom of the 8th, Brandon Fish at the dish takes first pitch outside. He had a single in his last at-bat. That was just the 4th hit of the game for Saugerties, and they're going to need that again here as they try to rally back and steal this one away from the Blue Sox. A big cut and a miss out of Fish. It's a 1-1 count. This game eerily similar to Utica's 2-0 win here in what was the second to last game of the season. The Blue Sox paid a visit to Cantine Field, scored in the 1st and the 6th, then went on to win it 2-0. This ball's flared into left field, and it's down in front of Turchi. It's a 1-out single for Brandon Fish.
Back-to-back hits and back-to-back at-bats for Fish, making an impact in this Stallions lineup. A team that needs to find a spark. Fish is certainly doing his part. Casey Comiskey provided a spark earlier back in the 1st inning, but now gets to hit with Fish on first.
Had an RBI single in the 1st inning. That plated the only run so far for Saugerties. Takes down low, strike 1.
Comiskey's been on base 2 of his 3 plate appearances here today to go along with a walk in the 4th.
Stowasser trying to attack the outside part of the zone. Esposito asking Joe Lasso Panera Sr., hey, where'd that one miss? Just slightly off the plate. Fish at first. 1 down here in the 8th, and Comiskey hits a ball to short. This could be 2. On to second. How about first? Not in time. Fielder's choice gets the lead runner, and Fitzsimmons will have a runner at first with 2 outs to work with.
Not the result you're hoping for out of Comiskey with Fish over at first. Try to find a way to advance him to second, but not the worst possible thing. Still 2 outs in the inning. You have an out to work with for Fitzsimmons, who steps in.
Really don't want to leave this to the bottom of the 9th. It would be Sanchez, Lino, and Ray, who are a combined 0 for 8 here tonight. Fitzsimmons just looking to pass the baton. Takes the first pitch down low for ball one. Stallions had a run in the 8th inning a couple of days ago against Utica at Donovan Stadium. That pushed the game into extras. They're going to need some of that here tonight. Someone that you highlight, Nick, if this game does go into the 9th, maybe George Baker as a pinch hitter. We haven't seen him in the lineup here tonight. He provides an awful lot of pop.
There's a couple different options for head coach Colin Martin. You got Baker, who's not in the lineup.
Got Jamie Z as well sitting there.
Mike Levinson, John Freitag. There's a couple guys that he could turn to here in the 9th inning looking for a spark.
1-1. That one gets away. Comiskey's going over to second. There will be no throw. The Stallions have a runner into scoring position for a 5th straight inning. Need to capitalize now more than ever. Comiskey is at second. There's 2 down in the inning and a 2-ball, 1-strike count. Fitzsimmons, big cut. 2 balls, 2 strikes. That's been Fitzsimmons' problem a little bit in this game. The big hack. Just gets under it, fouls it out of play. Fitzsimmons putting up a fight here. A 2-2 count. Two down. Stowasser fires, and it's hit over to the right side. That ball is off. The second baseman coming into scores. Comiskey, here's the throw, not in time. And we're tied up at 2. That'll go down as an RBI single. Talk about clutch hitting from Fitzsimmons, and we got a tie ball game.
Gutsy send from third base coach Ron Kelder on the infield single. Comiskey got the windmill. He stopped halfway thinking he's stopping at third, but no. He comes around to third, hits third, and comes around to score, tying the ball game up at 2 in what has turned into a very pivotal game for the Ponies since the Mohawks dropped 3-2 to the Outlaws.
Putting pressure on Lewis Swang out there at second base. Logan Sanchez at the dish. Smokes a ball over to short. Colella juggled it at first, comes up with it, flips to second in time. But the Stallions tie this game up at 2, going to the 9th inning. No. Welcome back to Saugerties. Dan Shalom with you alongside Nick Zuppi. 9th inning, a 2-2 ball game. This has been a true pitcher's duel, and the Stallions are going to need Greg Bruno to try to put up a 0 here against 3-4-5 of this Utica order.
He put up a 0, 1, 2, 3 in the 8th inning. 3 ground balls all to the right side. Needs to do so here once more in the 9th. Stallions have not 8, 9, 10 due up next inning.
It's been a gutsy performance on both sides for Utica and for Saugerties. Someone's got to break through, and this game is not only important for Saugerties with the loss for the Mohawks tonight. Same thing on the other side for Utica. They're trying to gain ground on the Boonville Lumberjacks and weasel their way into a playoff spot. And Boonville ended up losing to Mohawk Valley 4-3 tonight. So the winner of this game will gain a full game on either team. Makes the stakes even higher. Xavier Smith at the plate, the third baseman, took a first pitch ball. Bruno's dealt 2 straight balls to start off the ninth. Nobody going in the Stallions bullpen. This is Bruno's 9th inning. Did a great job in the 8th. 1, 2, 3, all on groundouts. 2-0. Chopped foul. 2 balls and 1 strike.
And this game feels very similar to the Amsterdam game a couple days ago where the Stallions and Mohawks were knotted up at 5, going to extra innings. Mason Weaver pitched the final 3 of that ball game. High leverage guy in a high leverage situation. Bruno, same thing.
Bruno fires. Smith fouls it off. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Bruno fires. He misses upstairs, and the count goes full. Top of the 9th here at Cantine Field. Stallions looking for some magic. Payoff. Misses outside, and Bruno issues the leadoff walk to Xavier Smith. Don't want to give up the free pass. Now he's got to work against some trouble. The last 9th inning that Bruno pitched was against the Glens Falls Dragons, where he ended up with a blown save. And the Stallions would go on to lose that game. Hoping to flip the script here tonight. Anthony Peritano at the dish. 1 for 3 tonight. Bruno fires a first pitch fastball in the middle of the zone for strike 1.
And Dan, it's been the walks that have hurt the Stallions pitchers here today. That's their 6th of the ball game to this point. Utica only has 2 hits. They haven't had a base hit since the 6th inning.
Bruno gives a check, and what a play by Passo to keep it close. That ball nearly went into foul territory. A 1. Misses high and away. 1 ball, 1 strike.
Bruno needs to go after Peritano here. 1 for 3. He had the last Utica single back in the 6th inning, but comes in today hitting under the Mendoza line. 195 batting average.
Bruno does just that there. Gets himself into the second 2-strike count of this inning. Had Smith 2-2 before walking him. Looking for the first out of this pivotal 9th inning. Bruno shakes off the sign. He's waiting to get what he wants. Sets at the belt. Here's the pitch. Wanted the fastball. Put it high and away, out of harm's way, but it's a 2-2 count.
not the worst idea from Bruno. You had a waste pitch to use. 2-2 count. That was, now you got to go after him.
Bruno fires. Off speed, right back to him, and he's going to have a double play at first. Greg Bruno kills 2 birds with 1 stone, and we got 2 down here in the 9th.
Heads up play for the right-hander for the Ponies. Comebacker right at him. The wherewithal to check the runner at first as well. All around great play from Bruno. His PFP practice has been on display here today. He had to cover first last inning and then teams up with Paso for the double play.
Matt Colello, the shortstop, at the plate now with 2 down in the 9th. First pitch foul back to the screen, and you look a little bit ahead now for the Stallions. You got 8, 9, 10 coming up in the bottom of the 9th. Not exactly what you want. And between Lino and Ray, a combined 0 for 6 here tonight. Could see a move to the bench for a bat in the 9th. But still, Bruno's got to get out of this 9th unscathed. 1 ball, 1 strike.
And Dan, you mentioned the possibility of a pinch hitter. I saw head coach Colin Martin having a quick chat with Jamie Z right next to the dugout. He then started to stretch his legs a little bit, so I wonder if he's going to be one of those guys that you just mentioned, maybe hitting for either Lino, Ray, or Crane next inning.
1-1. Lassa Panera Sr. not giving it at the top of the zone. If only we were in the MLB, Nick, where Jamie could go into the tunnel, get a couple of swings in the cage, and be ready to go in the 9th. That's certainly not the case here, but Jamie's a guy with plenty of pop who's been out of the lineup over the last few games. 2-1 is a fastball straight down the middle, grounded to Comiskey. He'll throw to first. The Stallions get the 0 here in the 9th, and Greg Bruno has teed up Saugerties for a walk-off in the bottom half. Stay with us to see if it's going to happen. Bottom of the 9th here in Saugerties. The Stallions have yet to have a walk-off win here this season in a regulation game. They've walked off a mercy rule game, but searching for a natural walk-off. And for them, it's going to be 8, 9, 10 due up, starting with Anthony Lino. And for Utica, they're going to keep Ryder Stowasser out there for the bottom of the 9th.
And the bottom of the order at this point in the ball game for the Stallions really hasn't done much. Lino 0 for 3, Ray 0 for 3 as well. Both of those guys struck out swinging in addition.
I'll tell you one thing. Jamie Z is ready to come on as a pinch runner if anyone is to reach. Don't think we're going to see any pinch hitters here in the bottom of the 9th. Stallions scoring in the bottom half of the 8th to tie up this game. So at the worst, this will go to extras if you're looking at it from Saugerties' perspective. First pitch to Lino inside, called for strike. Lino grounded into a fielder's choice. All the way back in the 6th is 0 for 3 here tonight. Rockets a ball into center field. Coming in on it to make the play is Tomei, who came into this game for Connor Jones, the center fielder who was ejected. Quickly 1 down in the 9th.
if it gets to it in the 10th, Tomei will actually get an at-bat. He's due up third next inning for Utica.
It would be Matt Colella at second as the extra hitter. Stallions hoping it doesn't get there. Andrew Ray at the plate takes a first pitch strike. Ray went down swinging in his last at-bat, and outside of that, 2 groundouts on the infield. Finds himself quickly down 0-2. Stowasser working very efficiently here in the ninth.
No reason not to. Bottom of the order for the Stallions. Your best option is to go right after them, make them put the ball in play, and hit themselves into the run column.
The 0-2 popped up into shallow center field. Tomei coming on, makes the play. Back-to-back flyouts to the center fielder. 2 down. No arm going for the Stallions. It will most likely be Greg Bruno out there for the 10th. And if this game is to go into the 10th, it would mark a 3rd straight game for the Stallions going into extras. And they're 1-0-1 across that stretch. Griffin Crane at the plate. Fouls back the first pitch he sees. Strike 1. Utica will have 6, 7, 8 coming up in the 10th if it gets there. One misses down low in the dirt, and the good news for the Stallions, if Crane is to get out here, they would have him as the ghost runner in the 10th. Just the guy you'd want to start at second base, if it is to get there. And now Utica is just a strike away from pushing this one into the 10th.
But you can't count him out in the batter's box. He's been on base 2 of 3 plate appearances here today with a single in the 5th.
Looper into left field. That ball is foul. Crane nearly had a single right there, but he jogs back to the box. Still in a 2-2 count. Two. Misses at the top of the zone. Last Panera Senior not calling it. Count goes full with 2 down here in the bottom of the 9th.
With the top of the order looming on deck, if Crane finds a way on first base, expect him to look to get to second.
Shoots a ball into left field, and it's down. Crane reaches on the 2-out single, and you want to talk about a guy who could end this game in one swing. Adonis Medina has home run pop. Showed it off last time against the Blue Sox at Donovan Stadium. Definitely something to keep in mind.
A guy who's more than comfortable in the batter's box. To this point here today, he's been on base 3 of 4 times to go along with a single in the 5th inning. But, Dan, you got to look for Crane over there at first base. He has 2 stolen bases today. He was also caught stealing back in the 7th inning. Expect him to be going on the first pitch to allow Medina to have pretty much an entire at-bat with a runner in scoring position.
There you go already. Stowasser giving the check on first. Esposito's done a nice job behind the dish so far tonight. First pitch is grounded over to short. Colella throws to second. And we're headed to extras here at Cantine Field for a 3rd straight game for Saugerties when we come back. 10th inning here at Cantine Field. Dan Schaum with you alongside Nick Zuppi. A third straight game for the Stallions where they have gone into extras, and across the last 2 games, they've played it a run in the 10th and looking to do exactly the same here tonight. First, they got to handle business against Utica, put up a 0. If you go back 2 days ago, Utica scored their last run of the game in the 5th and had nothing in the 10th.
Matt Murtaugh came into that one and got the final 3 innings. Did not allow a run to come across as well. Now, 3 games in extra innings. You're relying on a guy to get 3 innings pitched, the final 3 of the ball game.
Stallions had a 2-out hit, Griffin Crane, in the bottom of the 9th, but nothing came of it with 2 down. Bruno deals a first pitch strike. The ghost runner is Matt Colella at second base. 6, 7, 8 for the Blue Sox, starting with Vincent Cowdrey. Oh, one is grounded past Fish. Colella is going to come in to score, and the Blue Sox have taken a 3-2 lead.
Good hitting from Cowdrey. Fish was in on the grass expecting the bunt. Hit a hard ground ball right past him.
And usually if you're the visiting team in extra innings, you do not lay down the bunt, at least at the professional level, because you figure that the home team can match you in the bottom half with the same exact thing. So Utica teed up here perfectly as they've got a runner at first, nobody out, and have a 3-2 lead. Bruno finds the zone for strike 1 against Waldy Rodriguez, who is 0 for 2 tonight. A 1. Big cut and a miss. Stallions will have the speedy Adonis Medina at second base with 2, 3, 4 coming up. So if they can limit this to just 1 run, you have plenty of reason to think that they could come back in the bottom of the 10th. 0-2 pitch, high and away. Lino does a nice job not letting it get by him. 1 ball and 2 strikes.
Bruno really reared back and fired on that one. 0-2 count. Had a pitch to work with in that count. Wastes one up and away.
1-2. Strike 3. Got him looking. Rodriguez down on strikes for the second time tonight. And there's 1 down.
First strikeout of the ball game for Bruno. Comes in a big spot. 10th inning. Runner on first base gets Rodriguez to go down looking. Bringing up a guy who just entered the ball game a couple innings ago.
R.J. Tomei, the center fielder, replacing Connor Jones, who was ejected from this game by home plate umpire Joe Lasapanera Sr., takes a first pitch ball, and Tomei, 286 average in 21 games for him. He's been a very solid bat for the Blue Sox, so in a way, not the worst thing in the world. It's not like they lost James Turchi or Xavier Smith. They actually get to add a guy who is 4th best for average on this team. 1 ball, 1 strike. 1 down, 1 across here in the 10th. Bruno deals. Ground ball over to Comiskey. This could be 2, but it's fumbled. What a play on the bag by Ray to get the lead runner. Not the cleanest play, but it does a job, and there's 2 outs on the board.
And that's the biggest thing for the Ponies. Just get the job done. It doesn't matter how you do it. Doesn't matter what way you do it. Just get the job done. Ray became a first baseman, just picked up the ball with laying on the ground. Bruno now with 2 outs to work with. Esposito at the plate.
Esposito, the worst batter by average among these Blue Sox. .69 average coming into this game. Runner at first and 2 down. A 1. Bruno misses. Top of the zone. Cameron Carroll does not have a base hit tonight. Neither does Dylan Passo, and those will be the first 2 guys starting things for Saugerties in the 10th. It'll be interesting to see how head coach Colin Martin plays it, if they're going to go with bunt straight out of the shoe or let Carroll get some swings in. A tie here tonight would give the Stallions half a game on the Mohawks, push their lead to just 4.5 in the East, and it would also help out Utica, trimming Boonville's lead to just half a game. Talk about a compromise that could work for both sides.
But you don't play to tie, you play to win.
And especially not in baseball. That's the last game that you want to end in a tie. One, straight down the middle for strike 2. Now Bruno's just a strike away from getting the Stallions back into the dugout to try and tie or win the game. One-two pitch. Strike 3 gets Esposito swinging. 2 Ks for Greg Bruno here in the 10th. Stallions need 1 run to tie, 2 to win going into the bottom of the 10th. Stay right here. Bottom of the 10th, it's now or never for Saugerties. This game will end in a tie or a loss for the Stallions if they plate no runs or 1 run. Obviously a win, but regardless, this will be the final 3 outs of baseball here tonight at Cantine Field. Ryder Stowasser is going to stay out there looking for the 9-out save, and he'll go against Cameron Carroll, Dylan Passo, Brandon Fish. 2, 3, 4 in the order, with Adonis Medina at second.
You couldn't ask for a better part of the lineup to be up if you're head coach Colin Martin. Medina over at second base. He's got great speed. He's got 2 stolen bases here today. And then Cameron Carroll leading things off, a guy who's done nothing but rake this summer, comes into today hitting .322 in 18 games as opponent.
And if this game gets to Passo, it'll be the second time through the order for Stowasser, so Passo with a little bit of advantage against the righty. Here's the first pitch to Carroll. He takes it down low for ball 1. Another thing to think about, the 3 batters due up for the Stallions are all lefties in this inning, going against the righty Stowasser. Utica plating 1 off a leadoff RBI single from Vincent Cowdery in the top of the 10th. 2 balls and no strikes to Cameron Carroll, just the start you would want.
I always thought in these scenarios that a walk is not the worst thing. First base is open, and a walk to Carroll here sets up the double play for Utica.
3-0 count. Stowasser can't find the zone. You think about as well, possibly putting on the double steal if Carroll is to get over to first. Esposito's been good when tested at third tonight. Nabbed the speedy Griffin Crane. Carroll with a big hack on a 3-0 pitch. 3-1, not what you were expecting out of the Weber catcher right there.
Certainly tried to end the ballgame with one swing on that one.
Stowasser fires in the dirt. 5-pitch walk to Cam Carroll to start things here in the 10th. And the hard-hitting Dylan Passo coming to the plate. Seems like this is a situation where you kind of have to make Dylan lay down bunt. At least try it once. Especially given Medina's speed at second base.
A bunt would put the go-ahead run in scoring position as well. Moving up 90 feet from first to second would be Carroll.
Not only the go-ahead, but the winning run as well. Passo didn't seem like he was squaring there. They'll give a check on Medina. He got caught between second and third, leading all the way back in the first, which feels like ages ago. And now Esposito giving directions to his infield. Stallions searching for their first walk-off win of the season here on a Friday night in late July. Passo looked for bunt, pulls it back, 1-0 count. It's the right move right there. If it's not a pitch that you think you can get down, pull it.
Stowasser's been a little wild here, missed with 5 of his first 6 pitches.
1-0, Passo gets it down right in front of Stowasser. He'll throw to first in time. Both runners move up 90 feet. Dylan Passo does exactly what's asked of him. And now the tying run is at third, the winning run at second with 1 out.
Great job from Passo. Normally you don't have your 3-hole hit or bunt with a runner in scoring position, but he did exactly what was asked of him. Passed the baton to Brandon Fish. Passo executed that bunt to perfection.
Fish, back-to-back singles over the last 2 at plate appearances for him, and he's going to get the intentional walk to load the bases. This sets up Casey Comiskey, but also sets up the game-ending double play for the Blue Sox.
Force at every base. Utica's going to bring the corners in to try to cut off the tying run at third. Smith, the third baseman, and Paratano, the first baseman, playing right about even with at the bag.
Comiskey started this game with an RBI single and can end it in the same way with 1 swing. Also, very disciplined hitter. There's nowhere to put him. A walk in this situation also brings home a run. 1-0, fouled back by Comiskey. 1 ball, 1 strike, 1 out. Bases loaded with the Ponies trailing by 1. Third straight game of extras for this squad. Comiskey just missed that pitch, and he knew it. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Also got to be wary of a pass ball at home plate. Medina is very speedy at third. Stallions hoping that just something can break their way. Utica trying to get out of what has become a monster jam. Comiskey stays alive, just fouls the off-speed back. The energy, you can feel it rising here at Cantine Field. This has turned into a nail-biter in what is a pivotal game for both these teams.
Both these teams need a victory here tonight to gain ground on the team they're chasing.
The 1-2. Comiskey checks it. Does he go around? Yes, he did. Strike 3. And Comiskey goes down, and it's up to Dylan Fitzsimmons now. Stallions are down to their final out of the game. The intentional walk paying dividends so far for Utica. They've got 2 outs on the board. Fitzsimmons came up clutch in the 8th. He had the RBI single to tie this game up at 2, and he needs to do the same once again here in the 10th if Saugerties wants to see this game out. First pitch clips the outside part of the plate. Strike one.
You got to do whatever you can to put up a fight in the batter's box if you're Fitzsimmons. Foul off a tough pitch, get hit by the pitch, got to do what you got to do.
He's down 0-2. Saugerties as a whole down to their final strike of the ball game, and this certainly would drain some morale if Stallions are to go down here. Bases loaded, no balls, 2 strikes, 2 down. Here's the pitch. Bounced in the dirt. Medina is going to come all the way home, and this one goes out of play. Lassa Pinera Sr. says only 1 run comes across, but the game is tied at 3. At the very least, the Stallions have gained themselves half a game.
But they're looking for more. Cam Carroll stands on third base. Dylan Fitzsimmons in the batter's box. Perfect opportunity to give the Ponies the win.
And if that ball did not drop out of play and stayed in play, Carroll could have come home and won the game. That's a 1-ball, 2-strike count with 2 outs. We're tied at 3 here in the bottom of the 10th. Stowasser fires, and it's grounded over to the right side. It's through. Carroll comes in to score. Fitzsimmons is the hero, and the Stallions win it in 10. 4-3 the final.
How about it? Dylan Fitzsimmons, 2 RBI singles in the 7th inning or later. Walks them off here at Canton.
Talk about clutch. The Stallions gain a full one on the Amsterdam Mohawks. They sit 4 out now with a couple of games against Amsterdam left to go. And talk about a team that's starting to get hot at the right time. That is now 2 in a row for the Stallions, and they haven't lost over their last 3.
And it's been timely hitting to go along with timely pitching as well. Stallions they hold on to a victory 4-3, nearly blow it. The pitching staff was flawless. 3 runs came across, all unearned. And the hitting, they got big hits when they needed them. Casey Comiskey in the 1st inning, Fitzsimmons in the 8th, and then in the 10th. Wow, what a game.
Big win for Saugerties. Couldn't put it any other way. A man that can walk us through this win is about to be with our sideline reporter, Henry Hipschman, the hero in this game. Dylan Fitzsimmons is with Henry. Henry, what do you got?
I'm here with player of the game, Dylan Fitzsimmons. Dylan, a walk-off single to take a 4-3 victory over Utica. 2nd consecutive win over the Blue Sox. You came to the plate, 1-2 count, runner at third. What was going through your mind?
Just put the ball in play and good things will happen. That's pretty much it. Just get the ball on the ground, just find a hole. That was it.
Now a little bit of chaos to end that game, a wild pitch to bring in the game-tying run. How have the Stallions been able to pull out these great wins this year?
Just being, just pulling through in big moments. We're the better team, and we showed at the end there, so that's pretty much it. That's all I got to say.
Now the team's lost a couple of big players, Travis Hobbins-Seekin, Reese Maroney, Ryan King, but you've won 4 of the last 5. You guys keep on chugging. What's the mentality of this team right now?
Just keep hitting, keep throwing strikes, and keep making the plays, and we're going to win ball games. That's all I got to say.
Great. Thank you, Dylan. Congratulations. Your player of the game, Dylan Fitzsimmons, with a walk-off
statement win for the Stallions here tonight against the Utica Blue Sox. They get the job done. 4-3 in 10 innings. 2 straight wins, 4 back. They'll have the day off tomorrow before getting after it against the Glens Falls Dragons on Sunday night up at Eastfield. We got some thank yous to hand out. First off to our sideline reporter, Henry Hipschman, producer Bella Holleran, Nick Zuppi, my partner, Dan Shalom, saying goodnight here from Canton Field. Stallions win a thriller, 4-3 in 10.